Chapter 339. Grandmaster Jiao Mu, Li Ling, and the others who knew Ling Xiao had strange looks in their eyes when they saw the expression on his face. They all knew that Ling Xiao was not someone who would be easily bullied. Could it be that there was some secret in the longevity energy refining technique? If that was the case, those who cultivated the longevity energy refining technique would be at a great disadvantage. All right, let's go in. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and led the group forward. Everyone's longevity true qi spread out from their bodies. The terrifying 5 elements black heaven formation did not move at all, allowing Ling Xiao and the rest to enter through the stone door. Buzz. A bright light flashed and the scene before them changed. Everyone appeared in a new world. Is this the secret realm of longevity? One of the longevity sect's disciples exclaimed. His eyes were filled with disbelief and excitement. Everyone appeared in a vast mountain range. Ancient trees towered into the sky, thousands of feet tall. The canopy of the trees was like a dome, covering the sky and the sun. In the distance, a majestic mountain rose from the ground. Clouds and mist lingered around it, emitting an ancient and savage aura. It made everyone feel as if they had arrived in an ancient mythical world. There were strange flowers and herbs everywhere. Ancient vines entwined around them. Spiritual mist pervaded the air. Looking around, there were hundreds of precious spiritual herbs in this mountain forest. The spiritual energy in the surroundings was extremely dense. Everyone could feel their pores relaxing when they took a breath. Endless spiritual energy rolled towards them. It was incomparably pure and could be converted into a part of their true qi. The spiritual energy in this world was 10 times or even 100 times denser than that of the longevity sect. Unbelievable! This is really unbelievable. I didn't expect the secret realm of longevity to be a paradise. It's hard to imagine how prosperous the longevity sect was 10,000 years ago when they had the secret realm of longevity. This is a 3,000-year-old fire dragon grass? Oh my God! This is already at the level of a supreme spiritual herb. This is a 5,000-year-old withered tree vine and a 6,000-year-old pure yang fruit, 10,000 years black iron. This is a spiritual or used to refine treasures. How can there be such a big piece? Everyone was in an uproar. Each and every one of them was incomparably excited. In this mountain forest, they had casually discovered many precious spiritual herbs and precious mines. The spiritual herbs and treasures that had long disappeared in the outside world made everyone's eyes shine. It was like a group of beggars who had entered the palace's treasury. The secret realm of longevity has been sealed for 10,000 years. Even the most ordinary herbs have become supreme spiritual herbs. After all, the spiritual energy accumulated over the years is too terrifying. Nangong Xian exclaimed. Even with his state of mind, he was still greatly affected by it. There were spirit herbs everywhere. All of them were precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures. The spirit energy was so dense that it formed a spirit spring river. It was like an unexplored mythical world. The celestial mystic realm. Tens of thousands of years have passed. Even the celestial mystic realm has become so unfamiliar. Ling Xiao sighed softly, a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. This was indeed the immortal mystery land, but it was different from the immortal mystery land in Ling Xiao's memory. The landscape had changed a lot. Although it looked peaceful, Ling Xiao could still feel the undercurrent and danger hidden under the calm. Is it because of the invasion of the extraterrestrial demons 10,000 years ago? Why has the secret realm of longevity changed so much? Ling Xiao muttered to himself. He stood there and pondered. That's strange. Why are we the only ones here? Where did the people from the Martial Way Sanctuary go? Lung Feng's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. Hearing Lung Feng's words, Nangong Xian and the others calmed down. They were also puzzled. Only the disciples of the Changsun sect were here. Even Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, Chunyang Zhenren, Ling Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, Yueshen, and the others who came with them had disappeared. Seeing the puzzlement in everyone's eyes, Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, The entrance of the secret realm of longevity is connected by the 5 elements black heaven formation. Only the disciples of the Changsun sect can enter through the entrance. Who knows which demonic beast's lair they are in now?
What?
As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, the roars of demonic beasts could be heard from the mountains in the distance. The roars shook the sky and the earth shook. The roars were so powerful that they could be heard for a few hundred miles. It was like thunder, deafening everyone's ears and causing their faces to turn pale. So many rank 6 demonic beasts? And rank 7 demonic kings. Nangong Xian's body shook and his eyes were filled with disbelief. The roars of the beasts were accompanied by monstrous demonic qi. Terrifying fluctuations spread in all directions. Nangong Xian immediately sensed that many of the demonic beasts were at least 6th-order demonic beasts, which were comparable to celestial realm warriors. Among them, there were even rank 7 demonic kings. Although the secret realm of longevity is a treasure trove, it is also a training ground. Flesh and blood and life are the eternal themes here. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes shone brightly as he stared at the mountains in the distance. No one knew what he was thinking. The disciples of the Changsun sect who were excited by the treasure trove seemed to have been splashed with a bucket of cold water. They gradually regained their composure. The secret realm of longevity was originally a training ground for the disciples of the Changsun sect. There were many heavenly treasures and mysterious spiritual realms. However, there were even more demonic beasts and danger. The Changsun sect now could not be compared to the Changsun sect 10,000 years ago. After all, even Nangong Xian had not broken through to the sky-human realm. This meant that the disciples of the Changsun sect would be in greater danger. These are the longevity tokens. Each of you will have one. If you break it when you are in danger, you will be teleported out of the secret realm. However, each of you only has one chance. It is useless to take more than one. I hope that when we leave the secret realm of longevity, all of you will come out with one less. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand and dozens of white jade talismans floated in the air, emitting a gentle light. There are treasures like the longevity tokens? The safety of the disciples of the Changsun sect is greatly guaranteed. Nangong Xian was overjoyed. His eyes were filled with excitement. Although he didn't know what the longevity medallion was, after hearing Ling Xiao's explanation, he knew that the longevity medallion was equivalent to a life. It was a priceless treasure. Nangong Xian was already used to Ling Xiao's mysteriousness. This guy could even find the longevity supreme scripture and communicate with the statue of the sky-devouring supreme patriarch. Nangong Xian was certain that Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the sky-devouring supreme patriarch. The disciples of the Changsun sect were also extremely excited as they looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. Every one of them took a piece of the Changsun medallion and kept it close to their bodies. Bwr, 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 bwoo. At this moment, a loud wolf's howl resounded through the forest. The surrounding forest shook and the wind blew wildly. Endless demonic qi filled the air. Pairs of cold and bloodthirsty eyes appeared from the dense foliage. The disciples of the Changsun sect were surrounded by wolves. Chapter 340. One by one, giant wolves walked out from the forest. They were almost 10 feet tall and their limbs were strong and powerful. Their bodies were covered in golden scales that gave off a chilling glow. These giant wolves were filled with demonic aura and their eyes were bloodthirsty. They surrounded the group and there were thousands of them. The leader of the pack was a wolf king. It was almost 10 feet tall and looked like a small moving mountain. Its body was covered in golden light and there was a golden horn on its head. It stood there and looked at the group, giving off a desolate aura that was extremely oppressive. Nangong Xian and the group's expression changed instantly. The weakest of these giant wolves was a rank 3 demonic beast. There were also quite a number of rank 4 and rank 5 demonic beasts. The Wolf King in the lead was not much weaker than the long-armed Ape King. It's the giant golden armored wolves. The physical strength of these giant wolves is extremely strong, and the golden scales on their bodies have a very strong defense. Their weakness is their eyes. Junior brothers, this is your first test after entering the immortal secret territory. If you can't even deal with these giant wolves, you can just get lost and go home. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the pack of wolves and smiled faintly. Ling Zhao's words temporarily dispelled the fear in the hearts of the disciples. Their eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. The saint was right. Compared to the powerful demonic beast kings in the secret territory, these giant golden-armored wolves were nothing. Moreover, they had the long-armed ape king on their side. More importantly, with Ling Zhao around, they would feel at ease. Disciples of the longevity sect, listen up. Elites of the spirit transformation realm, form groups of 3 and kill the giant golden-armored wolves with the longevity sword formation. The rest of you, move freely and cooperate. At Nangong Xian's command, all the disciples of the longevity sect unsheathed their long swords. Their eyes were filled with fighting spirit as they charged towards the giant golden-armored wolves. The long-armed ape king's gaze instantly fell upon the wolf king. With an excited roar, he thumped his chest and pounced towards the wolf king. Under the lead of the ape king, the long-armed apes charged forward fearlessly. Although there were thousands of giant golden-armored wolves and only 100 disciples of the longevity sect, the longevity sect's morale was high. The two sides instantly engaged in a fierce battle. The giant golden-armored wolves howled and rushed over like golden lightning. The scales on their bodies emitted a cold light. Their blood and chi surged as they rushed over. "Bastard, you're courting death." A sharp light flashed in Li Ling's eyes. He unsheathed the ancient sword on his back, emitting a dazzling light. Like a divine rainbow, it pierced through the eyes of a giant wolf in golden armor. After all, the sword was unstoppable. Like a stick of candied haws, the eyes of 7 or 8 giant golden-armored wolves exploded and their brains splattered before the ancient sword spun around and returned to Li Ling's hand. Sensing Li Ling's powerful aura, 3 5-zhang-tall giant golden-armored wolves, all rank 6 demonic beasts, charged towards Li Ling, their eyes filled with hatred and killing intent. Moreover, these giant golden-armored wolves knew how powerful Li Ling's swordsmanship was, so they were careful to cover their eyes. Countless sword chi landed on their scales, causing sparks to fly everywhere. However, it was unable to break through their defense. The battle between the Ape King and the Wolf King was the most intense. It was like 2 mountains colliding. The ground in the distance rumbled and cracked open like a spider web. The towering ancient trees were reduced to dust. The wind blew wildly, causing sand and stones to fly everywhere. The Wolf King's sharp claws swept across the sky, causing the void to buzz. It was extremely sharp and left a few bloody marks on the Ape King's chest. However, this triggered the Ape King's ferocity. His 2 arms were like heavenly pillars, piercing through the void. After an intense collision, he sent the Wolf King flying hundreds of zhangs away with a punch. Rumble. Demonic chi filled the air as the sounds of battle shook the sky. This peaceful forest instantly turned into an intense battlefield. Ling Zhao did not make a move. Instead, he observed the surroundings. When he saw that the longevity sect disciples were no match for them, he would make a move to save them. However, Ling Zhao's brows gradually furrowed. These giant golden-armored wolves were not afraid of death. The death of their companions only increased their hatred. There were thousands of giant golden-armored wolves. Even if they were all killed, the longevity sect disciples would definitely suffer heavy casualties. The reason is more important than the giant golden-armored Wolf King. As long as I kill the Wolf King, these giant golden-armored wolves will collapse on their own. Ling Zhao's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the Wolf King who was fighting with the Ape King. He could tell that the giant golden-armored Wolf King was extremely strong. It was almost on par with the Ape King. The Ape King would not be able to end the battle in a short period of time. I would like to see if your golden armor can withstand my secret skill of the ancestral dragon. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit as he walked towards the Wolf King. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon could increase one's physical strength tremendously. Moreover, the heaven-devouring secret skill could neutralize a large number of physical attacks. Back in the longevity sect, Ling Zhao had once fought with the long-armed Ape King with his Earth Dragon body at the Great Perfection stage. In terms of physical strength alone, Ling Zhao was not weaker than the long-armed Ape King. More importantly, Ling Xiao also had the most insane innate super ability, Dragon Eruption. With the Flood Dragon body, the Dragon Eruption super ability could increase one's combat strength by 2 times. With the Earth Dragon body, the Dragon Eruption super ability could increase one's combat strength by 4 times. With Ling Xiao's current physical strength and the Dragon Eruption super ability, even if he was facing the giant golden armored Wolf King, Ling Xiao was confident that he could kill it. A giant golden armored wolf stared at Ling Xiao and pounced towards him. The wolf's claws were sharp and could tear apart the toughest mountain rock. It was as though one's stomach would be ripped open if they came into contact with it. This was a rank 5 demonic beast. It seemed to treat Ling Xiao as a delicious meal as its eyes were cold. Scram! Ling Xiao did not even look at it. His expression was indifferent as he threw out a punch. Golden divine light exploded and the unparalleled fist print landed on the wolf's claws. Boom! The wolf's claw exploded, and a mist of blood filled the air. The fist imprint was unparalleled, landing directly on the giant wolf's body. Those sturdy scales were covered with faint runes, and they shattered in an instant. The giant wolf's body was torn to pieces in the void, exploding. With a single punch, a rank 5 giant golden armored wolf was dead. The saint is mighty. The saint is invincible. The disciples of the Changsun sect let out a fanatical look of worship. Looking at Ling Xiao's valiant appearance, their battle intent was ignited. A giant golden armored wolf that was 6 feet tall appeared in the sky. Its demonic aura was torrential and its eyes were cold. Golden blood chi filled the air as it charged towards Ling Xiao. This giant golden armored wolf was already a rank 6 demonic beast. Judging from its aura, it was even stronger than the 3 giant golden armored wolves that Li Ling was fighting. It was second only to the Wolf King. Sensing the ferocious aura, many of the Longevity sect's disciples turned pale. Chapter 341. A dragon's roar pierced the sky. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a golden light as he exuded a powerful dragon's aura. Endless chi of heaven and earth surged as he punched out. A golden dragon rushed out of his fist, exuding a vast wave of energy. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon was completely unleashed. It was as if the wolf could feel the dragon's aura from Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao looked very small, the dragon's aura he exuded was like an ancient true dragon that suppressed the world. The aura he exuded made the wolf tremble in fear. After all, other than the few ancient mythical beasts that could compete with the true dragon, the bloodline of most beasts was imprinted with respect and fear for the true dragon. After all, the true dragon race had once suppressed an era and was one of the supreme overlords of the ancient mythical era. The wolf was not surprised. Therefore, after being intimidated by the dragon's aura, its charging force was naturally weakened. Boom! After being hit by the golden divine dragon armor, the body of the giant wolf shone with a golden glow. Countless scales exploded in an instant. The fist imprint contained an incomparably vast power. It directly sent the giant wolf flying hundreds of feet away, crashing heavily onto the ground. Although it was not dead yet, it was on its last breath. The giant golden armored wolf landed right beside Deng Yalan, creating a huge crater and giving him a fright. However, seeing the state of the wolf, Deng Yalan's eyes turned. He immediately raised the long sword in his hand, gritted his teeth, and rushed forward to chop off the wolf's head. "Rascal, what are you trying to do?" Deng Tiando was shocked. That was a rank 6 beast. If it had the slightest bit of resistance, it could have swallowed Deng Yalan in one bite. However, the giant wolf in golden armor that was knocked down by Ling Xiao's punch clearly did not have any ability to retaliate. A hint of indignation appeared in its eyes before it lost its luster. Deng Yalan, on the other hand, took out a fist-sized golden monster pill from the giant golden wolf's body. He was extremely excited. This was the demon pill of a rank 6 beast. It was definitely a rare treasure. The saint is mighty, the saint is invincible, the saint can crush everything. The saint is destined to become a supreme being and dominate the world. Deng Yalan followed the other disciples and shouted even louder. His eyes were filled with excitement. Sure enough, following the saint would bring him great benefits. Normally, he wouldn't even dare to think about these natural treasures. But now, all of them had actually appeared before his eyes. Many of the longevity sect's disciples' eyes were filled with fanaticism and worship. Their saint's son was really too powerful. He killed a rank 5 monster with a single punch and even a rank 6 monster with a single punch. Meanwhile, the Holy Sun was already heading towards the Golden Armor Wolf King. What was the Holy Sun doing? Was he going to slay the Wolf King? That was the Wolf King, who was comparable to the peak of Heaven Tier. His physical body's chi and blood could shatter a mountain peak and was incomparably powerful. Even from so far away, the shockwaves from the great battle between the Wolf King and the Ape King made them feel extremely apprehensive. Disciples, listen up. The Holy Sun has already gone to kill the Wolf King? Once the Wolf King dies, these giant golden armored wolves will probably run away. Kill them all. Half of the Yao cores you obtain will be stored, and the other half will be yours. Nangong Xian's eyes flashed as he guessed Ling Zhao's thoughts. He took the opportunity to boost the morale of his troops. Yes. Many of the disciples were excited. If these Yao cores were refined into elixirs and consumed, it would definitely increase their cultivation greatly. This was related to their own cultivation, so how could they not risk their lives? So, he's already so strong? Nangong Qing's clothes were whiter than snow, and her sword was incomparably beautiful. Her sword pierced through the eyes of a giant wolf, and she landed on the ground like a fairy. She looked at Ling Zhao's back and sighed softly. Back then, the young man who peeped on her bathing was chased all over the mountains and plains by her. Now, he had become a huge mountain for the longevity sect, sheltering them from the wind and rain. His radiance was boundless, his elegance was unparalleled, he fought against the heavens and the earth, and he smiled proudly at the heroes. He suppressed prodigies and killed demon kings. He had become somewhat unfamiliar to Nangong Qing. No matter what, even if I can't catch up to your footsteps, I'm not willing to become your burden. Nangong Qing suddenly smiled. Her peerless face bloomed like 100 flowers blooming, causing the eyes of the surrounding longevity sect's male disciples to widen. The moment he was distracted, the giant golden armored wolf found an opportunity and clawed at his chest. Nangong Qing's eyes flashed with killing intent. The long sword in her hand swept across the sky and instantly blocked the giant golden armored wolf. Then, the sword around her shot into the sky, and countless sword chi descended from the sky, piercing through the giant golden armored wolf's eyes with lightning speed, killing it. That male disciple was already drenched in cold sweat. If it wasn't for Nangong Qing, his stomach would have been sliced open today. Thank you, senior sister. Thank you, senior sister. The male disciple thanked her profusely. Don't be distracted, work hard to kill the enemy. Nangong Qing smiled warmly and turned around with her sword. Her figure was ethereal like a phantom, and she charged towards the giant golden armored wolves. The male disciple rubbed his eyes hard, turned around, and charged towards a giant golden armored wolf. Damn giant golden armored wolf, see if I don't kill you. Rumble. The battle became more and more intense. Countless giant golden armored wolves were killed, and the longevity sect's disciples began to be injured. Ling Xiao arrived in front of the giant golden armored wolf. Ape King, leave it to me. You go and slaughter its descendants. Ling Xiao said indifferently, and his eyes shone with sharpness. Although the Ape King was a little unwilling, it was still enjoying the battle. However, Ling Xiao came over, and the Ape King did not go against Ling Xiao's will. It turned around and charged towards the giant golden armored wolves. The giant golden armored wolf understood Ling Xiao's words. Its cold eyes shone with murderous intent, and its golden claws slammed towards the Ape King's back. Your opponent is me. Ling Xiao's figure flashed, and he blocked the giant golden armored wolf. At the same time, he threw out a punch. His golden blood boiled, and the fist print contained unparalleled divine strength. Bang! After Ling Xiao and the giant golden armored wolf clashed, they both retreated at the same time. Ling Xiao rubbed his numb arm, and his eyes were filled with strong fighting intent. This giant golden armored wolf was an excellent opponent. Ling Xiao's secret skill of the ancestral dragon had unlocked the potential of his physical body. However, other than the powerful beasts, there was almost no human who could fight with Ling Xiao in terms of physical strength. Therefore, this giant golden armored wolf was the best target, especially the golden scales that had unparalleled defensive strength. There were faint runes lingering on it, and it gave off a golden light. It was the giant golden armored wolf's innate ability. The giant golden armored wolf's eyes were filled with shock and anger. The puny human in front of it had an unbelievably strong physical body. He actually had the strength to fight with it. Without further ado, the giant golden armored wolf pounced towards Ling Xiao. Although it could not fly, the giant golden armored wolf could leap over 100 feet. Demonic aura surged from its body, and the mountains under its feet were crushed. The towering ancient trees collapsed, and rocks flew everywhere. Chapter 342. Bring it on! Ling Xiao shouted. Blood qi surged from his body and the secret skill of the ancestral dragon exploded. He clenched his fist and a golden dragon coiled around his body. He walked in the void and charged towards the Wolf King. Rumble! The sky shook violently. A Wolf King and a human, one big and one small, actually began to fiercely collide with each other with just the strength of their flesh. The monstrous blood and qi swept out in all directions, shocking everyone. Is the saint a human or a demon king? The strength of his physical body is too terrifying. Even the ape king couldn't take down the wolf king. The saint is on par with it. That's terrifying. Even if you tell me that the saint can kill a noble realm expert, I'll believe it. That's right. The saint is invincible. Many disciples of the Changsun sect were excited. After all, they had heard many legends about Ling Xiao, suppressing the heavenly snake descent and killing the Tiger King. However, none of them were as exciting as the scene before them. With the puny physical strength of a human, he could clash with the Wolf King in golden armor and not be at a disadvantage. The turbulent heavenly wind swept across the sky and hurt people from far away. This was no longer the strength of a human. This was a beast in human form. The battle between Ling Xiao and the Wolf King had ignited the fighting spirit of countless disciples. They rushed towards the giant golden armored wolves, and with the addition of the long-armed ape king, the giant golden armored wolves were completely defeated. Fresh blood dyed the ground red. Rumble! The void trembled violently. Ling Xiao and the Wolf King continued to clash. Both of them seemed to have gone all out. They didn't use any techniques, only relying on their physical strength to kill each other. Every time they collided, they would be sent flying, and then they would rush back up and fight again. In the battle with the Wolf King, Ling Xiao felt his physical body getting stronger and stronger. His strength that had reached its limit started to increase slowly, especially when the energy from the Wolf King was refined by the heaven-devouring secret skill. It started to nourish Ling Xiao and became a part of his cultivation. In the end, Ling Xiao even started to gain the upper hand. No matter how terrifying the Wolf King's strength was, it would be defeated by Ling Xiao with a single punch. You're worthless now. So, you can die now. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness, and the powerful dragon's aura around him rose at this moment. It was as if countless true dragons were roaring in the sky. Ling Xiao's entire body was covered in a golden glow, and the divine light was dazzling. An ancient, desolate, dignified, and mysterious aura began to awaken from his body. Dragon Storm Fear-Ji! Ling Xiao roared loudly. This innate ability had been completely awakened, and Ling Xiao's strength increased exponentially. In an instant he exploded forth with 4 times his peak battle prowess. Rumble! Ling Xiao punched out like a falling star, causing the void to tremble violently. Unparalleled divine light burst out. This punch was unavoidable, and it was so fast that it blasted towards the Golden Wolf King in an instant. The Golden Wolf King felt a sense of fatal danger. Its eyes were filled with shock. It couldn't imagine how this human strength had become so terrifying in an instant. The demonic aura around its body began to burn like golden flames. Its wolf claws seemed to be cast in gold as they slammed down from the sky. At the same time, the golden scales on its body shone brightly, and its defensive power was pushed to the extreme. However, for times the strength was no longer a gap that could be closed by risking his life. The unparalleled fist landed, and one of the Wolf King's wolf claws instantly exploded, turning into nothingness. Ling Zhao's fist landed heavily on the Wolf King's body. The golden scales let out a series of crackling sounds, and countless runes exploded. Instantly, half of the Wolf King's body turned into a bloody mist. Roar! The Wolf King let out a blood-curdling scream. It was instantly sent flying a few hundred feet by Ling Zhao, and heavily smashed into a mountain peak in the distance. Rumble! The mountain peak trembled violently, and countless rocks turned into dust. The towering ancient trees collapsed, and the ground cracked. It was a terrifying scene. Ling Zhao stood in the void, and his eyes were like lightning. The golden divine light was like divine chains that intertwined around his body. The dragon's aura filled the air, making him look like a peerless dragon god. Everyone was stunned by the scene. Even the giant golden wolves were shocked, and their eyes were filled with fear. Ling Zhao's fist shattered the Wolf King's defense, and half of its body was destroyed. That peerless attack was forever imprinted in everyone's hearts. The Wolf King rushed out of the mountain peak, and at this moment, it looked extremely miserable. Its body was a bloody mess, and its scales were shattered. Half of its body had turned into nothingness. It looked at Ling Zhao with hatred and fear. Everyone originally thought that the Wolf King would go all out, but after a long howl, it turned into a streak of golden lightning and quickly fled into the distance. The giant golden wolves were already scared out of their wits when the Wolf King fled. How would they dare to stay any longer? They all turned around and fled as well. Sect leader, I'll go after the Wolf King. You guys leave this place quickly. Train in the secret territory of longevity and collect treasures. Don't be greedy. With the Ape King protecting you, you shouldn't be in too much danger. Ling Zhao said to Nangong Xian. Alright. You be careful. Nangong Xian nodded in agreement. Young master, come back quickly. Although Shui Wei was reluctant to part with him, she still said sensibly. Shui Wei, listen to me. I'll be back soon. Ling Zhao smiled, turned into a streak of golden light, and chased after the Wolf King. Not only was the golden armored wolf's defense very strong, it also possessed extreme speed. Especially when the Wolf King was fleeing with all its might, its speed was extremely fast. Very quickly, it had crossed over several large mountains. Even Ling Zhao was momentarily unable to catch up. I'd like to see where you're going to run to. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he used the secret skill of teleportation. His entire body seemed to have turned into a shadow, and with each step he chased after the Wolf King. The essence of heaven and earth in the secret territory of longevity was too rich. It was like a huge river, and it surged into Ling Zhao's body. In the end, it was refined by the sky-devouring golden lotus and became a part of his cultivation. Ling Zhao chased after the Wolf King, and after crossing a few mountains, he became more energetic. Where is it? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He felt the Wolf King's aura in a mountain in front of him, and he immediately increased his speed. Rumble. However, in the mountain in front of him, there was the sound of an intense battle. Along with the Wolf King's roar, there was the aura of a human. It seemed that the Wolf King was fighting with someone. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he rushed toward the battle. Chapter 343. In a mountain range ahead, several black-robed grandmasters with sabers in their hands surrounded the Wolf King. The leader was a middle-aged man with a sinister face, exuding an aura as vast as the sea. He held a black gold saber in his hand. The saber radiance was unparalleled, and cold rays of light shrouded the Wolf King. The Wolf King was already severely injured by Ling Zhao, and it was difficult for it to even maintain the strength of a rank 6 demonic beast. Hence, it could not break through the blockade of the saber radiance. Its eyes were filled with anger. If it had not been severely injured, the Wolf King would not have cared about these people at all. It would have swallowed them all in one bite. Sect leader, this is a peak rank 6 demonic beast. Its body is full of priceless treasures. We're rich now. The eyes of the young grandmasters were filled with excitement. When the Wolf King was escaping, it bumped into them and was stopped. However, the Wolf King was indeed very strong. Even their sect leader, who was in the celestial realm, almost let the Wolf King escape. The sinister-looking middle-aged man also had a greedy look in his eyes. They had just entered the secret territory, and they had never thought that they would encounter a severely injured peak 6th rank demonic beast. This was simply a windfall from the sky. Chaotic 8 saber. The middle-aged man shouted. The black gold saber in his hand emitted a blazing light, and like splashing water, it slashed at the Wolf King from an extremely tricky angle. The Wolf King was already severely injured, and the middle-aged man was a celestial realm expert. After barely blocking a few attacks, the Wolf King's head was chopped off by the middle-aged man. Blood spurted out, and the Wolf King's eyes were filled with unwillingness. Its huge body fell to the ground and died. A peak rank 6 golden armor Wolf King was killed by a level 1 celestial realm expert. It was extremely sullen. When Ling Xiao arrived, he saw the scene of the Wolf King being killed by the middle-aged man. Buzz. A golden light flew out of the Wolf King's body, exuding a strange spiritual fluctuation, and fled into the distance. A demonic core? The middle-aged man's eyes flashed as he saw the golden light. It was a golden demonic core, and he immediately reached out to grab it. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He extended his hand and grabbed at the air. A powerful suction force surged out and immediately grabbed the Wolf King's demon core. Who is it? Hand over the Yao core. When the young evolved Jing masters in black saw that Ling Xiao had obtained the demonic core, their eyes turned cold as they yelled out in unison. I was the one who injured this golden armored Wolf King. I only want its Yao core. I can give you the Wolf King's corpse. Ling Xiao glanced at them indifferently. Bastard! You dare to say that you were the one who injured the Wolf King with your meager cultivation? If you know what's good for you, hand over the Yao core. Otherwise, you'll die. A black-robed young man said coldly with a look of disdain in his eyes. Ling Xiao seemed to only be in the Master Realm, while the Golden Armor Wolf King was a 6th-rank demonic beast. How could it have been injured by Ling Xiao? Naturally, they didn't believe it. Shut up. At this moment, the sinister-looking middle-aged man suddenly shouted. The black-robed young men were stunned. Why would their sect master scold them? So it's young Master Ling Xiao. My disciples are blind. I hope young Master Ling won't blame them. I'm Wang Jiandong, the sect master of the Mad Blade sect. Since the Wolf King was injured by young Master Ling, the Yao core naturally belongs to young Master Ling. The sinister-looking middle-aged man said with a flattering smile. Ling Xiao? The black-robed young men were shocked when they heard the name. Their eyes were instantly filled with shock. They were sweating profusely and their arrogant faces were twitching. This was a ruthless man. Legend had it that he suppressed Shi Tianluo, killed the Tiger King, and defeated Huang Haifeng with a single punch outside the secret territory of longevity. Everyone guessed that Ling Xiao was at least in the celestial realm. If such a monstrous genius were to be ruthless, he could probably kill everyone in the Mad Blade sect alone. No wonder their sect master scolded them and even admitted defeat in front of Ling Xiao. They had no choice but to admit defeat. Even their sect master might not be a match for Ling Xiao. You recognize me? Ling Xiao looked at Wang Jiandong indifferently. The Mad Blade sect should be a small sect. Ling Xiao did not have much of an impression of them. However, Ling Xiao was a little surprised that the sect master of a small sect was at level 1 of the celestial realm. Young Master Ling is a peerless genius of his generation. I've long admired you for suppressing Huang Haifeng with a single punch outside the secret territory of longevity. Who hasn't heard of young Master Ling's name? Wang Jiandong's eyes flashed as he smiled. He did not care whether the Wolf King was injured by Ling Xiao or not. Although he subconsciously did not think that Ling Xiao could injure the Wolf King, he knew that he was definitely not Ling Xiao's match. Therefore, he immediately admitted defeat. Is that so? Ling Xiao looked at Wang Jiandong indifferently. Since the Mad Blade sect was so tactful, Ling Xiao could not do anything to them. In that case, I'll take the Yao core. I can give you the Wolf King's body. Ling Xiao said indifferently and turned to leave the mountain range. To Ling Xiao, the golden armor Wolf King's Yao core was the most precious thing. The remaining half of the Wolf King's body was dispensable. No matter why the Mad Blade sect people admitted defeat, Ling Xiao did not have the time to care about them. After Ling Xiao left, the smile on Wang Jiandong's face disappeared and a trace of gloominess appeared in his eyes. Sect Master, that's the Yao core of a 6th-rank demonic beast. How can you give it to Ling Xiao just like that? A black-robed young man said unwillingly. Then what do you want? Fight with him? I'm afraid that not only will we not be able to get the Yao core back, we will all die in his hands. Ling Xiao is not a soft-hearted person. Wang Jiandong said indifferently. So we're just going to let it go? Just let it go? How is that possible? We can't deal with Ling Xiao, but there are plenty of people who can. Let's go, we'll go find the Wan Shou sect. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to kill Ling Xiao and avenge us. Wang Jiandong's eyes revealed a trace of cold light as he sneered. Sect Master is wise. With the experts of the Wan Shou sect, Ling Xiao will definitely die. The black-robed young men's eyes were filled with excitement. The Mad Blade sect people kept the Wolf King's body and quickly left the mountain range. After Ling Xiao obtained the Yao core, he did not return to the Longevity sect immediately. Anyway, with the long-armed Ape King and Li Ling around, as long as he did not meet any demonic king-level experts, he should not be in any danger. The changes in the Longevity secret territory were too great. It was very different from what Ling Xiao remembered. Ling Xiao wanted to search around to see if the places he cared about the most still existed. Chapter 344. Inside the Longevity secret territory. Other than the people from the Longevity sect who entered the stone door and arrived at a safe forest, the others were all transported to different places in the Longevity secret territory. Some people were transported to a place where the space was chaotic. They didn't even have time to see their surroundings before they were turned into a bloody mist. Some people were directly transported to the nest of the ferocious beasts and were buried in the bellies of the beasts. However, there were even more people who, after experiencing life and death battles, killed the demonic beasts and left the danger zone, finally began to see the whole picture of the Longevity secret territory. Inside the Longevity secret territory, there were precious spiritual herbs everywhere. In the majestic mountain range, there were many precious heavenly treasures and spiritual materials for refining weapons, causing everyone to go crazy. Countless experts rushed into the Longevity secret territory and in a short period of time, they obtained a large amount of treasures. I heard that the eldest prince of the great Huang ancient country, Huang Haifeng, found a 10,000-year-old blood lingji. It has reached the level of king medicine and is incomparably precious. Inside the Longevity secret territory, there were countless pairs of eyes watching. As long as someone obtained a treasure, the news would spread rapidly in a short period of time. This is nothing. Someone saw the great Hong ancient country's divine radiance crown prince find a piece of red dawn stone. It is said that it is a supreme treasure for refining supreme Dao weapons. The people of the great Hong ancient country also obtained a great harvest. The appearance of the red dawn stone also caused a bloody storm. Those bastards of the great Xian ancient country found a spiritual spring. I heard that they are bathing and cultivating in the spiritual spring. Lord Mo Kong of the Terminator Demon sect killed a 3-headed dragon and obtained a water avoidance pearl. His Highness Dragon Son found 3 thunder fruits. It is said that they contain the concept of thunder and are very precious. The Phoenix Girl obtained a vermilion bird fire seed. It is said that she is cultivating an extremely powerful technique. Many pieces of news spread. All those who entered the secret realm of longevity had great gains. This stirred up everyone's fanatical hearts. However, not everyone was so lucky. Those who were able to find treasures, other than a few lucky ones, were all powerful experts. Even more people were buried in the bellies of demonic beasts or died in dangerous areas while searching for treasures. Their corpses were not even left behind. The news of countless casualties caused the fanatical crowd to sober up a little and become even more vigilant. After all, the the secret ground of longevity was not a peaceful place. Although there were countless treasures, it was also full of danger. Ling Xiao transformed into a streak of golden light and flew forward in the mountain range. The surroundings were filled with numerous towering divine mountains that towered into the clouds. Their auras were majestic, dignified, and mysterious, and they emanated strands of vast auras. Furthermore, Ling Xiao could sense that there seemed to be mysterious runes flickering within those sacred mountains, faintly forming a mysterious array. Formation? Could it be that something has happened in the longevity secret realm? Ling Xiao was deep in thought, a faint light flickering in his eyes. He used the teleportation secret technique to move at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to find out what had happened in the longevity secret realm. In the end, Ling Xiao was slightly relieved. Other than a few mountains that had changed their positions, most of the landscape had remained the same. It was the same as Ling Xiao remembered. There were not many changes. Moreover, after tens of thousands of years, the longevity secret realm was like a barren world that had been sealed. It was ancient and mysterious. Countless powerful demonic beasts roamed the mountain range. There were even some powerful Archean variant beasts. Chirp! A metallic sound pierced through the clouds. In the distant mountain range, a violent wind was blowing. A huge black eagle flew across the sky. The feathers on its body were as sharp as swords, incomparably sharp. The eagle's claws shone with a metallic luster, and there was a light that made one's heart palpitate. Its eyes were especially cold and merciless as it stared at Ling Xiao. Tianshan Eagle? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He recognized that the eagle was the legendary Tianshan Eagle. It had the bloodline of an Archean ferocious beast. It was said that when a Tianshan eagle reached maturity, its wings would cover the sky and the sun. It was extremely terrifying. Although this Tianshan eagle was only a peak rank 5 demonic beast, its speed was extremely fast. It was like a black bolt of lightning as it pounced towards Ling Xiao. Bastard, you're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Golden light gushed out from his body. He clenched his fist and punched towards the Tianshan eagle. Boom! Lightning flashed. The Tianshan eagle seemed to be able to feel the terrifying power in Ling Xiao's punch. It immediately dodged and went behind Ling Xiao. Its huge eagle claws were aimed at Ling Xiao's head. The eagle claws contained unparalleled power. If Ling Xiao's head was hit by this claw, his brain would probably burst open and he would die. Ling Xiao's figure was shattered. It turned out that it was just an afterimage. Ling Xiao's body appeared 30 feet away. He reached out and grabbed the eagle's claw. He swung it violently and smashed it towards a huge rock in the distance. Crack! The rock shattered and sand flew. The Tianshan eagle cried out in pain. Its wings fell off and there were traces of blood on its body. How terrifying was Ling Xiao's divine strength. No matter how strong the Tianshan eagle was, it could only die in Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao reached out and crushed the neck of the Tianshan condor. He dug out a green demonic pill from its body, which contained traces of light energy. The Tianshan eagle was naturally sensitive to the wind attribute. Hence, the demonic pill contained the power of the wind attribute. If I want to break through to the body of the flying dragon, I need to gather hundreds of rank 6 demonic pills. The Tianshan eagle is an Archean variant. Its demonic pill can be used. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. He kept the demonic pill and flew into the distance. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon, Ling Xiao, had already broken through to the second level of the earth dragon body. His physical body was extremely strong. Coupled with the violent dragon superpower, he could even fight against a peak rank 6 demonic beast and even kill it. There were many demonic kings in the secret territory. Ling Xiao's current strength was not a match for the demonic kings. If he could break through to the body of the flying dragon, he might be able to fight a demonic king with his physical strength. Ling Xiao had already obtained the most important 9 heavens spiritual grass. Now, he still needed hundreds of 6th-rank demonic beast cores and some supplementary spiritual herbs. Ling Xiao was confident that he could collect all the treasures he needed in the secret territory. After breaking through to the body of the flying dragon, Ling Xiao was more confident in the next step of his plan. In the secret territory of longevity, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was extremely dense, especially in this remote mountain range. The spiritual chi had even turned into spiritual mist, drifting between the mountains. Ling Xiao inhaled and exhaled the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, continuously converting it into heaven-devouring true chi. The heaven-devouring secret skill and the secret skill of the ancestral dragon were Ling Xiao's foundation. The heaven-devouring secret skill was a chi cultivation technique, while the secret skill of the ancestral dragon was a supreme martial art that could unlock the potential of the physical body. However, the stronger Ling Xiao's physical body was, the harder it was for him to break through. Chapter 345. Ling Xiao left the valley and headed towards a towering mountain. Ling Xiao felt a familiar aura from that mountain. Perhaps there was something he needed on that mountain. Ancient trees towered into the sky, and the ground was covered with withered leaves. Powerful beasts roared one after another, emitting a terrifying demonic aura that shook one's soul. When Ling Xiao flew past a mountain forest, the earth suddenly rumbled. Several towering ancient trees collapsed with a rumble and turned into fine powder. A huge black bear rushed out from the forest. Its black fur stood up like steel needles. It bared its fangs at Ling Xiao, and its eyes were filled with ferocity. The black bear seemed to be dozens of feet tall. As it ran on the ground, every step it took caused the earth to tremble. Moreover, anything that stood in its way, whether it was a towering ancient tree or a huge mountain rock, was brutally smashed to pieces by it. The black bear was very agile. Its body was covered with a layer of Xianhuang qi. It threw a punch at Ling Xiao. This is the demonic earth bear? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He didn't expect another demonic beast with an archaic bloodline to appear. This demonic earth bear was a rank 6 demonic beast. Judging from its aura, it wasn't far from the peak. It wasn't much weaker than the golden armor wolf king. The demonic earth bear roared in anger as it charged towards Ling Xiao with a ferocious aura. Kill! Ling Xiao didn't hesitate. He roared and rushed forward. Rumble! A man and a bear collided violently. It was as if an earth-shattering collision had occurred. The ground around the two of them began to crack, and countless boulders turned into dust. Ling Xiao and the demonic earth bear retreated at the same time, smashing a few ancient trees. Instantly, the forest became a mess. The demonic earth bear's eyes were filled with bloodlust. Its skin and flesh were rough, and its physical strength was abnormal. It was even stronger than the golden armor wolf king. Boom! Boom! Ling Xiao used his physical strength to clash with the demonic earth bear. At the same time, he borrowed the strength of the demonic earth bear to refine his physical strength. Under such an extreme clash, Ling Xiao's physical strength, which had already reached its peak, began to slowly strengthen again. In the distance, a small mountain peak shattered, and countless huge rocks rolled down. That earth demon bear was carrying huge rocks and smashing them towards Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out. His fist was dazzling, and countless rocks were shattered by him. Ling Xiao used all of his physical strength to engage in an intense battle with the demonic earth bear. Finally, after a few hours of battle, Ling Xiao finally killed the demonic earth bear with his physical strength. Ling Xiao could feel that the blood in his body was as vast as the sea. It was as if there were golden dragons swimming in it, exuding an incomparably mysterious dragon aura. After going through this battle, not only did he not feel any discomfort, but his physical strength had become even more terrifying. Ling Xiao took out the demonic earth bear's demonic pill, and kept the useful treasures such as the bear's paw, skin, and bones. Just like that, Ling Xiao spent the next 2 days in this mountain range, searching for powerful demonic beasts. Those demonic beasts were all unlucky. After the battle with Ling Xiao, they turned into demonic pills and were collected by Ling Xiao. Although he did not deliberately collect them, there must be precious spiritual herbs where powerful demonic beasts were. Therefore, Ling Xiao obtained many spiritual herbs and treasures. Some of them were even king herbs that were more than 10,000 years old. They were extremely precious. In 2 days, Ling Xiao killed more than 100 demonic beasts. His entire body was shrouded in a thick layer of killing intent, and his essence, qi, and spirit had undergone a transformation. If I'm not wrong, there should be a king herb on top of that mountain. Finally, Ling Xiao's gaze landed on the towering mountain. 2 days ago, Ling Xiao had discovered that familiar aura. However, Ling Xiao also felt a faint sense of danger. There seemed to be some kind of terrifying existence on top of that mountain. However, in the end, Ling Xiao still decided to go to the top of the mountain to take a look. After all, king medicine grade spiritual herbs were still very precious. Until now, Ling Xiao had only collected one king medicine, which was a 10,000-year-old purple jade ginseng. Spiritual herbs that had reached the king herb level all had very strong spirituality. Moreover, they had seized the fortune of heaven and earth, and contained a trace of mysterious power of law. They were essential for refining supreme Dao pills. The mountain looked majestic, but with Ling Xiao's powerful primordial spirit perception, he felt a trace of mysterious fluctuation on the mountain. Just like the fluctuations of a formation, it enveloped the entire divine mountain. Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. After using the secret teleportation technique, his aura was restrained to the extreme. His entire person seemed to have merged into the void. In an instant, he landed on the mountainside of the mountain. He could see a huge waterfall falling in front of him. That king herb should be in that waterfall. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. After a few leaps, he arrived in front of the waterfall. The huge waterfall flowed straight down, as if the Milky Way was reversed. It was snow-white and dazzling. When it fell into the deep pool below, it stirred up thousands of huge waves. However, in the middle of the pool, there was a golden lotus floating. It looked the size of a wash basin. The 9-petaled golden lotus emitted a brilliant light. Moreover, there was a layer of light on each petal. The 9 light circles intertwined together, looking very mysterious. 9 reincarnation golden lotus? It is indeed a king herb. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He recognized the origin of this golden lotus. The 9 reincarnation golden lotus appeared once every 1,000 years. In order to refine it into a 9 reincarnation golden lotus, it would take a total of 9,000 years. This 9 reincarnation golden lotus could cleanse one's meridians and improve one's foundation. Under the 9 transformations, it could even directly transform a person into a born Taoism aptitude. It was incomparably precious. Ling Xiao walked towards the 9 reincarnation golden lotus. There was a trace of excitement in his eyes. With this 9 reincarnation golden lotus, he would have all the treasures needed to break through to the flying dragon constitution. At that time, Ling Xiao's strength would undergo another qualitative change. Buzz. At this moment, a blazing flame shot through the air and landed in front of Ling Xiao in an instant. It formed a barrier of fire, separating Ling Xiao from the pool. Little brother, this 9 reincarnation golden lotus was first seen by this big sister. Give it to big sister, okay? A bell-like laughter rang out. The void flashed with light and flames spread. A stunning woman in a red dress stepped on a crimson divine rainbow. She was like a flame fairy, incomparably mysterious. The woman's figure was extremely hot. Her thighs were long and slender, and her waist was slender. The 2 lumps of white in front of her chest were almost bursting out, revealing a ravine that would make one's blood boil. She had a perfect face with long eyelashes. Her big, sparkling eyes were full of flirtatiousness. As her eyes moved, there was a different kind of charm and seduction. Phoenix girl? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This woman was the Phoenix girl of the Wan Shou sect. Chapter 346. The Phoenix girl was shrouded in crimson flames, and there seemed to be a shadow of a fire phoenix behind her. She descended from the sky and stood in front of Ling Xiao. She looked at Ling Xiao with her big watery eyes and a charming smile. Little brother, I didn't expect you to be so strong. Putting aside Shitan Luo, I didn't expect you to kill the Tiger King as well. The Phoenix girl walked to the edge of the pool and smiled at Ling Xiao. But, Phoenix girl, do you want to avenge the Tiger King? Ling Xiao said calmly with a bright gleam in his eyes. The Phoenix girl's every move was charming. There was a strange fluctuation in her voice, as though it could make people lose themselves in it. Little brother, what are you talking about? The Tiger King is too annoying. He always pesters me. Little brother, help me kill him. I can't thank you enough. Why would I find trouble with you? The Phoenix girl giggled. However, I really need this 9-cycle golden lotus. Little brother, give it to me and I'll compensate you. How about that? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. However, he was very cautious. The Phoenix girl's cultivation had reached the 2nd level of the celestial realm. Moreover, Ling Xiao could feel a faint sense of danger from her. Why don't you compensate me with your body? The Phoenix girl's eyes flashed, and her face blushed. She moved closer to Ling Xiao as if she was at his mercy. A fragrance wafted through the air as a soft body leaned towards Ling Xiao. However, all Ling Xiao saw was a slender jade-like hand that was emitting a faint glow as it slapped towards Ling Xiao's chest. Mysterious flames filled the air. If he was hit by this palm, even a celestial realm expert would be severely injured. Bang! A faint smile appeared on the corner of Ling Xiao's mouth. His hand was as fast as lightning, instantly grabbing Phoenix Girl's slender hand and pulling her into his embrace. The soft and sweet body in his arms was especially fragrant. Ling Xiao couldn't help but take a deep breath. He leaned towards the Phoenix Girl's ear and exhaled gently. He smiled and said, "You're really a beauty. Are you really going to compensate me with your body?" The Phoenix Girl froze. She was caught off guard by Ling Xiao's sudden attack. Her eyes were filled with shame and anger. She didn't expect Ling Xiao to see through her attack. However, no matter how she struggled, she couldn't escape from Ling Xiao's embrace. She felt like she was being hugged by a dragon. Moreover, Ling Xiao breathed into her ear and even purposely used his teeth to touch her earlobe. This caused her body to go soft and numb. There was a flame surging in her body like spring water. She couldn't help but clamp her legs together. "Get away from me!" The Phoenix Maiden flew into a rage out of humiliation. Her palms were suffused with a crimson glow. Strands of runes floated up as if they had transformed into the phantom of a fire phoenix that pounced toward Ling Xiao. The flames were incomparably hot, causing the void to tremble slightly. "Lady Phoenix Girl, didn't you want to pay with your body? I'm fulfilling your wish. As long as you serve me well, I'll give you the 9-revolution golden lotus." Ling Xiao was amused. He held the Phoenix Girl in his arms with one hand and formed a fist with the other. He punched the scarlet mist in the sky and the flames were turned into nothingness. Ling Xiao's hand climbed up the Phoenix Girl's buttocks. They were soft, smooth, and bouncy. Ling Xiao couldn't help but pat them twice. "Ah!" The Phoenix Girl screamed like a frightened rabbit. Powerful Xiantian Gang Qi gushed out from her body, and she instantly broke free from Ling Xiao's evil claws. She bounced up, her cheeks flushed red, and she looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of shame and anger. "Ling Xiao, you bastard!" The Phoenix Girl gritted her teeth. She wanted to use the art of seduction to make Ling Xiao submit to her. She didn't expect this young man to be so strange. Not only was he not affected, he even teased the Phoenix Girl. "Phoenix Girl, didn't you say you wanted to compensate me with your body?" Ling Xiao's face was filled with innocence. At this moment, a ray of light flew across the sky and grabbed the 9-revolution golden lotus in the pool. Then, it quickly fell into Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao took the opportunity to pluck the 9-revolution golden lotus while the Phoenix Girl was distracted. "Ling Xiao, return the 9-revolution golden lotus to me." The Phoenix Girl realized that she had been fooled. Her eyes were about to spit fire as she looked at Ling Xiao angrily. However, the Phoenix Girl was too beautiful. Her voice was as clear as a bell. Even if she was angry, it sounded like she was flirting. It was hard to dislike her. "Come and get it if you can." Ling Xiao laughed and punched the pool. A mysterious powder was sprinkled out by Ling Xiao. Suddenly, a strange fragrance appeared in the air. Ling Xiao didn't even look back. He used the secret teleportation technique and rushed down the mountain. In a few seconds, he disappeared into the mountain range. When the fragrance wafted over, Phoenix Woman's expression changed. She had a bad feeling about this. "Rumble." The waves in the deep pool surged, and dozens of water pillars shot up into the sky. A black flood dragon rushed out from the deep pool. It had a single horn on its head and ferocious black scales. There were 2 dragon claws on its abdomen, and its blood-red eyes were filled with rage. The black flood dragon stared at the Phoenix Girl. Then, its 100-feet-long body rushed out from the pool and swept towards the Phoenix Girl. The black flood dragon's aura was too terrifying. It was already a 6th-rank demonic beast. Moreover, it had a trace of the bloodline of a real dragon. It could control the wind and rain. The dragon tail emitted an unparalleled divine force. The Phoenix Girl couldn't avoid it. Ling Xiao bastard. I'll catch you sooner or later. The Phoenix Girl stomped her feet in anger. However, she had no choice but to use her cultivation to block the black flood dragon's attack. She hated Ling Xiao so much that her teeth itched. Not only was she taken advantage of by Ling Xiao, she didn't get the 9 Revolution Golden Lotus, but she was also targeted by a beast. This made Phoenix Girl cry out in anger. She had never suffered such a loss. She vented all her anger on the black flood dragon. Although the flood dragon was an archaic variant with a strong bloodline, how could it be a match for the Phoenix Girl? After a fierce battle, the black flood dragon let out an unwilling roar and was killed by the Phoenix Girl. The Phoenix Girl looked around. Ling Xiao's figure was nowhere to be seen. Ling Xiao, I'll catch you. The Phoenix Maiden snorted coldly and flew in the direction of Ling Xiao's departure. At this moment, Ling Xiao had already flown over the mountain range and arrived at a valley. The bag of powder that Ling Xiao threw out just now was specially made by him. It had a fatal attraction to demonic beasts. When Ling Xiao arrived at the pool, he already felt that there was a 9 Revolution Golden Lotus here. However, there was also a powerful demonic beast hibernating in the pool. Chapter 347. The Longevity Secret Territory had been sealed for tens of thousands of years. It was like an undeveloped world filled with all sorts of treasures. However, the demonic beasts within were also very strong. Many people ended up in the stomachs of the demonic beasts when they were searching for treasures. Ling Xiao traversed through the desolate mountains. Along the way, he saw a few powerful medicine kings absorbing the essence of the sun and moon, emitting an extremely strong aura. However, Ling Xiao was not a match for demon kings at the moment. Hence, he took a detour when he saw them from afar. The outer region of the secret land of immortality is of no use to me now. My physical strength has not reached the limit yet. If I want to perfect my physical body and reach the critical point of breaking through to the body of Flying Dragon, it seems that I have to go to the secret lands in the middle region. Ling Xiao thought to himself as a glint flashed across his eyes. The Longevity Secret Territory was extremely vast. From the entrance to 50,000 miles away, it was the outer region. Most of the demonic beasts were rank 5 and below. Although there were some rank 6 demonic beasts and even demon kings, they were too rare. The area between 50,000 and 80,000 miles away was the middle region. There were many rank 6 demonic beasts there. There were also some secret territories left behind by the Longevity sect. They were extremely precious. The area between 80,000 and 100,000 miles away was the core region. There were countless precious treasures of the Longevity sect hidden there. Of course, there were also many demon kings. As for the area beyond 100,000 miles, it was the Void Crack, a dangerous forbidden area. It was not a place that ordinary people could enter. There was a mysterious place in the middle region. It was extremely beneficial for Ling Xiao to refine his physical body. Just as Ling Xiao was heading towards the middle region, outside the Longevity Secret Territory, a sloppy old man with a head full of white hair and a tattered robe flew over on a huge gourd. His target was the stone door of the Longevity Secret Territory. The Longevity Secret Territory is finally open. Looks like my mission is coming to an end. The old man drank a mouthful of wine happily. There was a hint of vicissitudes and sharpness in his old and cloudy eyes. He stared at the stone door, his face full of emotions. Hugging the huge gourd, he flew unsteadily into the stone door. There was a layer of white light around his body. It was endless, vast and pure. If Ling Xiao could see it, he would definitely exclaim. This old man had also cultivated the longevity qi cultivation technique. Ling Xiao headed towards the depths of the longevity secret territory. He passed through many mountains, collecting spiritual herbs and killing powerful demonic beasts along the way. However, during this time, Ling Xiao met with some trouble. As long as Ling Xiao took a fancy to the precious spiritual herbs, he would find that the herbs were gone after he killed the demonic beasts guarding them. Am I being watched by some mysterious entity? A cold glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he felt a chill run down his spine. Even though he had locked onto them with the power of his primordial spirit, those precious spiritual herbs had disappeared without a trace. Of the herbs and of the longevity of time, of the secret of heaven, of the territory of the longevity secret territory, of the realm of the heavens territory. Devouring. After carefully inspecting the area a few times, Ling Xiao was finally able to rely on some subtle traces to discover that the vitality and essence of the spiritual herbs and demonic beast corpses had been devoured by a powerful devouring force. That was why such a scene had occurred. Could it be it? Ling Xiao felt the strange yet familiar devouring power. He seemed to have thought of something. His eyes were filled with excitement. 10,000 years have passed. It can't still be alive. If it is still alive, it should have become a deity and left this world. But why is there its aura here? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could not figure out the situation. However, if you want to be sure, you should give it a try. That old fellow should appear soon. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile. He continued to move forward and kill demonic beasts. He watched as the energy of the demonic beasts and spiritual herbs was devoured and turned into nothingness. Ling Xiao used the spiritual herbs he already had to refine a transparent spiritual liquid. It was like a nectar. It gave off a rich fragrance that made people feel refreshed. Buzz. Ling Xiao poured a glass of spiritual liquid and slowly placed it on the ground. Runes spread out from his hand and sealed off the space around the glass. Only the fragrance of the spiritual liquid could still spread out and permeate the surroundings. Ling Xiao's body flashed. He restrained his aura to the extreme and hid in a towering ancient tree. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Ling Xiao saw that there was an invisible ripple in the space around the glass cup. It was as if a mysterious force was reaching for the glass cup. However, the glass cup was sealed by Ling Xiao's runes. Therefore, the mysterious force could not penetrate the runes, let alone touch the liquid in the glass cup. It's here. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw a black mountain goat peeking out from behind a large green rock in the distance. The goat looked quite extraordinary. Its entire body flickered with a faint spirit light, and its black hair was as shiny as silk. It had 2 golden horns and sharp fangs in its mouth. His eyes were full of spirituality, carrying a human-like excitement as he carefully moved towards the glass cup. The liquid in the glass cup seemed to have a fatal attraction to the mountain goat. Its eyes lit up. However, the mountain goat did not act rashly. It looked around carefully. After confirming that there was no danger, it shook its head and walked over. It's really him? Ling Xiao's entire body trembled, and his eyes revealed an indescribably pleasantly surprised expression, appearing to be incomparably excited. In his previous life, everyone knew that Ling Xiao was known as the Sky-Devouring Supreme. He was the leader of the 10-titled Supreme. He dominated the world with his Sky-Devouring secret skill. However, others did not know that Ling Xiao had obtained the Sky-Devouring secret skill because of a great opportunity. 10,000 years ago, when Ling Xiao was young, he accidentally entered an ancient relic and found a mysterious bone. The bone was covered with runes and recorded the Sky-Devouring secret skill. Ling Xiao also met a black mountain goat in the ancient relic. At that time, it was already a demon king and had cultivated the Sky-Devouring secret skill. It even left the ancient relic with Ling Xiao and came to the War God continent. Chapter 348. In Ling Xiao's previous life, the goat and Ling Xiao were both friends and teacher. If Ling Xiao hadn't died, both of them might have broken through the peak of humanity and reached the realm of gods. Ling Xiao originally thought that the goat had become a god and left the war god continent. Who would have thought that he would see it here? Clang. The black goat also discovered the rune array outside the glass cup, and a trace of disdain appeared in its eyes. It immediately extended its hoof and kicked down, causing the rune array to explode. The black goat grabbed the glass cup and drank it in one gulp. The goat's eyes showed incomparable enjoyment. A human-like smile and excitement appeared on its face. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile. This goat was still as cocky as ever. But for some reason, its cultivation had fallen. It looked even weaker than a 6th-level monster now. Who is it? Get the hell out here. The goat's eyes turned and spoke in human language. It looked at the ancient tree that Ling Xiao was hiding in. What sharp insight. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had no intention of continuing to hide. He jumped down from the ancient tree. Young man, it's you? Why are you hiding so sneakily? Could it be that you want to harm me? The goat glared at Ling Xiao. Its eyes showed a trace of hostility. Old goat, you've been following me all this time. You stole my spiritual herbs and guarded my corpse. Now you've even stolen my immortal drunken wine. You still have the nerve to question me? Ling Xiao rolled his eyes and said in annoyance, You're the old goat. Your whole family are old goats. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, the goat suddenly jumped up. Its 4 hooves dug into the ground as if it wanted to charge at Ling Xiao. White smoke came out of its nose and its eyes were filled with anger. Ling Xiao laughed in his heart. The goat called itself the heaven-devouring great emperor 10,000 years ago. It hated being called an old goat the most. Once it was called that, it would go berserk. Young man, you're disrespectful to me. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? But I see that your talent is not bad. You're a promising talent. Kneel down and become my disciple. Give me 300 to 500 caddies of your immortal drunken wine and I'll forgive you. The goat stared at Ling Xiao. Its eyes rolled a few times as it spoke indifferently. 300 to 500 caddies of immortal drunken wine? Why don't you go rob a bank? Also, I already have a master. I can't join another master. Ling Xiao said in annoyance. The immortal drunken wine was refined by him using several types of precious spiritual herbs. It could be considered a type of fine wine. In terms of the energy contained within, the immortal drunken wine in the glass cup was comparable to a supreme grade elixir. 300 to 500 caddies of immortal drunken wine. You have a master? Who is your master? This emperor will bring you to kill him. Then, won't you be able to become my disciple? The goat said indifferently. I'm afraid that you won't be able to kill my master. No one in this world can kill my master. Ling Xiao pretended to be proud and said, Oh, who is your master? I. There was a trace of disdain in the goat's eyes. It actually sat down on its hind legs and crossed its front legs in front of its chest. It raised its head and had an arrogant expression on its face. If my master tells you, you'll be scared to death. Old goat, let me tell you. My master is the legendary sky-devouring supreme, the strongest person in the world. Ling Xiao laughed in his heart, but his face was full of arrogance. I said, don't call me old goat. What did you say? Your master is sky-devouring supreme? The goat was enraged. Just as he was about to explode, his ears twitched. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Young man, do you know who sky-devouring supreme is? How could he accept you as his disciple? With your weak cultivation, he won't even take a second look at you. The goat said disdainfully. He looked at Ling Xiao from the corner of his eyes. Old goat, sky-devouring supreme is really my master. You know about the immortal drunken wine, right? Only my master knows how to brew it. If I'm not his disciple, how can I brew it? Also, look at what this is. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His body shone brightly. A golden lotus floated out from his body, emitting a beautiful light. This is the sky-devouring golden lotus? You've cultivated the sky-devouring golden lotus to this level? You're really his disciple? Do you know where he is? There was a hint of shock in the goat's eyes, and he immediately became excited. He quickly ran over and hugged Ling Xiao's leg. He raised his head, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Ling Xiao felt a warmth in his heart. Although this old goat was arrogant and black-bellied, he was genuinely worried about him. However, Ling Xiao did not intend to reveal his true identity. After all, being reborn was no small matter. Ling Xiao subconsciously felt that this was a secret that could only be kept to himself. I don't know where he went either. I'm a disciple of the longevity sect. There's a statue of my master in the longevity sect. I received my master's inheritance from the statue. Ling Xiao said softly. I see. He was killed by that despicable True Dragon Supreme. I thought he was still alive. It's been 10,000 years, he's been gone for 10,000 years. The goat seemed to have lost his soul as he mumbled to himself. There was a trace of sadness in his eyes. Looking at the goat's expression, Ling Xiao felt a little bitter. Time was the most ruthless force. It changed everything and took away all the people Ling Xiao wanted to see. The goat in front of him gave Ling Xiao a surreal feeling. It was as though he was talking to an old friend after countless years. Old goat, do you know my master? Tell me more about my master. Ling Xiao's face revealed a strange expression as he spoke slowly. Bastard, call me old goat again and I'll beat you to death. Of course I know your master. 10,000 years ago, your master and I were good friends. We went through fire and water together and shocked the world. We stepped onto the peak of martial arts and dominated the war god continent. How impressive was that? In terms of seniority, you should call me senior uncle. Take out all the immortal drunken wine you have. I'll tell you more about the sky-devouring supreme. The goat glared at Ling Xiao. When Ling Xiao mentioned the sky-devouring supreme, he immediately became enraptured. He twisted his body and pointed a hoof at the sky, looking domineering. But in the end, he still couldn't forget about the immortal drunken wine and asked Ling Xiao to take out all the immortal drunken wine. But Ling Xiao didn't refuse this time. With a warm smile, he handed a bottle of immortal drunken wine to the goat and looked at his old friend. Ling Xiao could see that although the goat looked strong and had a strong physical body, his insides were a mess. He had suffered severe injuries. If it was an ordinary person, he would have died long ago. But the goat was still alive and kicking. It was just that he had lost 80 to 90% of his strength. The sky-devouring supreme was extremely talented. Speaking of which, I was the one who discovered his talent and brought him onto the path of martial arts. The goat grabbed the bottle and took a sip happily as he talked about the sky-devouring supreme's past. Chapter 349. The old goat rambled on about how Ling Xiao rose to power and became a supreme being. Of course, there was no lack of self-praise, shamelessly claiming that he was the life mentor of the heaven-devouring supreme. Ling Xiao smiled warmly and did not interrupt him. He was like an old friend who had not seen each other for a long time. He drank the drunken immortal wine and enjoyed the cool breeze on the mountain peak. I am the elder brother of the devouring heaven supreme. If I did not teach him the devouring heaven secret skill, how could he become the most powerful person in the world? Your master is also very respectful to me. The old goat said proudly. Oh, you are so powerful? Why aren't you in the 10 titled supreme beings? I've never heard of the heaven-devouring great emperor before. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Cough, cough. The old goat's expression froze with an unnatural glint in his eyes. He became angry out of humiliation. I don't care about fame. Even though I taught the heaven-devouring supreme, I'm used to being free and unrestrained. I don't care about this empty reputation. Ling Xiao snickered in his heart. In his previous life, this old goat loved to ambush others and steal treasures from ancient tombs. Almost all of the famous sacred grounds had been visited by this old goat. Everyone hated it to the bone. It could be said that the old goat's reputation was in tatters. However, Ling Xiao did not expose him. Instead, he asked softly, "How did my master die? What happened after he died?" Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with anticipation. Perhaps he could get some information about Jin Se from the old goat. Your master was a heaven-warping martial genius, a peerless hero who suppressed his peers. He was the most dazzling person 10,000 years ago. However, he did not know who he was and was ambushed and killed by the second-ranked Supreme True Dragon. I told him long ago that the supreme true dragon was not a good person, but he did not listen to me. The old goat gulped down a mouthful of wine, his eyes revealing a hint of sadness and anger. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. The old mountain goat was not lying about this. In his previous life, he trusted the supreme true dragon very much and had always treated him as a brother. However, the old mountain goat did not like the supreme true dragon and even fought with him. It was because Ling Xiao trusted the supreme true dragon too much that the old goat ran to the savage demon territory in anger. That was why the supreme true dragon ambushed Ling Xiao. Later on, I heard that your master was ambushed and killed by that despicable true dragon. I led the 9 demon sovereigns of the savage desolate demon region to seek revenge on true dragon. In the end, we encountered the invasion of the otherworldly demons. The entire war god continent was plunged into misery and suffering. That battle almost destroyed the war god continent. The old goat's eyes were filled with sadness. And I was severely injured by the demonic emperor. But, where? There was a hint of disappointment in Ling Xiao's eyes. Ling Xiao smiled. What's your name? The old goat directly spat out the immortal drunken wine in his mouth. His eyes widened in disbelief. Brat, do you know your master's name? How dare you call him Ling Xiao? You're so rebellious. The old goat pointed a trembling hoof at Ling Xiao and shouted angrily. My master's name is Ling Xiao too? My parents gave me that name. What can I do? Ling Xiao shrugged and said innocently. Bastard, how can you be called Ling Xiao? And now that I think about it, you look quite similar to that fellow? The old goat looked at Ling Xiao suspiciously. He felt that this young man before him was very similar to the sky-devouring supreme, be it in terms of appearance or temperament. Do we look alike? Maybe it's because I cultivated the sky-devouring secret technique. That's why my master and I have the same aura. Does this mean that I'll be like my master and become the #1 paragon in the world? Ling Xiao coughed lightly and laughed shamelessly. Become the #1 paragon in the world? You're still far from it. The old goat glanced at Ling Xiao and said unhappily. I'm the saint of the Changsun sect now. I'm a peerless genius of my generation. As long as I have enough time, I'll definitely be able to reach the peak and even surpass my master. Ling Xiao chuckled, his body exuding a faint aura of sharpness. You're just bragging. You actually cultivated the ancestral dragon secret technique? The old goat sneered, but its eyes flashed as if it had discovered something extraordinary. It circled around Ling Xiao, its eyes full of excitement. The ancestral dragon secret technique is that bastard Zhenlong's treasure. Even your master only obtained a little bit of it back then. How did you cultivate the ancestral dragon secret technique? And looking at your cultivation realm, you've already cultivated to the earth dragon constitution? The old goat's eyes lit up as he stared at Ling Xiao as if he was looking at a peerless treasure. The ancestral dragon secret technique was passed down to me by my master. What do you want? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of vigilance. He knew this old thing the best. As long as it revealed such an expression, it meant that nothing good was going to happen. Your master passed it down to you? Could it be that he obtained the complete ancestral dragon secret technique from Zhenlong later? The old goat was stunned for a moment before he laughed. He moved closer to Ling Xiao and said, Kid, let's make a deal. I'll guide you in cultivating the sky-devouring secret technique in the future, and you'll teach me the ancestral dragon secret technique. How about that? So it's after the ancestral dragon secret technique. Ling Xiao was stunned and found it funny. The old goat's origin was very mysterious. Even Ling Xiao couldn't recognize the old goat's original form. He had guessed that the old goat should be a demonic beast with an ancient bloodline. Its origin was not to be underestimated. To demonic beasts, the ancestral dragon secret technique naturally had an unimaginable temptation. 10,000 years ago, part of the reason why the old goat didn't get along with Zhenlong was because he was a good-for-nothing. He coveted Zhenlong's ancestral dragon secret technique and had secretly attacked him a few times. Zhenlong was naturally infuriated. Because of this, There were many battles between the two of them. It gave Ling Xiao a headache in his previous life. There's no need for that, old goat. My master has already told me how to cultivate the sky-devouring secret technique. Also, the ancestral dragon secret technique was passed down by my master and can't be passed down to outsiders. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. Chapter 350. Don't go, boy. I'm your master's older brother. How could I possibly be an outsider? Years ago, your master begged me to learn it, but I refused. I had nothing better to do, so I thought I'd help you see if there were any flaws in the ancestral dragon secret art. I'm doing this for your own good. You better know what's good for you. The old goat did not give up. He chased after Ling Xiao with his beard twitching. Ling Xiao moved with incredible speed, turning into a streak of golden light as he used a secret magic to teleport deeper into the Live Forever pocket realm. The old goat's speed wasn't slow either. He stepped on an auspicious cloud and his fur was shiny like silk. He followed behind Ling Xiao and chattered endlessly, trying to trick him into getting the ancestral dragon's secret technique. Ling Xiao was amused, but he didn't relent. Even if I wanted to give you the ancestral dragon secret art, you can't possibly cultivate it with your Dao injuries, can you, old goat? Ling Xiao said, glaring at the old goat. I can't believe you can see my Dao injuries. Not bad, boy. I really can't cultivate them right now. I need to heal my Dao injuries. Years ago, I used a forbidden move from the heaven-devouring secret art to injure the Heaven Devil Emperor. I drew on the god power of a great Dao to injure him, damaging my life force quintessence. I went into hibernation for more than 10,000 years, but all I could do was prevent my Dao injuries from worsening. The old goat's eyes flickered with surprise at Ling Xiao's ability to see his Dao injuries. Although he looked normal on the outside and had the power of a fifth-order demon Ling, his insides were in shambles. The sealing marks of a great Dao were stuck inside of him, making it impossible for his fleshly body and cultivation base to heal. Ling Xiao could see that the old goat's life force quintessence was riddled with cracks, and his meridians were broken. If it weren't for the fact that the old goat had cultivated the heaven-devouring secret art to a higher level than Ling Xiao's, as well as the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, he would have long since been reduced to ash. I'll take you to a place where the golden wind and jade dew can help heal your Dao injuries. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. What? Golden wind and jade dew? The Live Forever pocket realm has golden wind and jade dew? The old goat's body shook, and his eyes revealed a look of pleasant surprise. The words golden wind and jade seemed to have a strange magic to it. The golden wind was the power of the great path law, and the jade dew was the power of the essence of the gods. The golden wind and jade dew was a kind of energy formed from the god's corpse after the death of the ancient gods under the influence of the great path law after countless years of changes. The golden wind and jade dew was incomparably precious, especially to martial artists who cultivated their bodies. It could allow one to be reborn, cultivate a supreme Dao body, fill one's life source, and possess a terrifying physical body comparable to that of a divine beast. If he had the golden wind and jade dew, it would be of great help to the old goat's Dao injury, even if it couldn't be completely healed. That's right. There is a golden wind and jade dew pond in the longevity secret realm. It has not been collected for 10,000 years. I believe there should be a lot of golden wind and jade dew in there. It should be enough for us to cultivate. Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of excitement. The golden wind jade dew pool was one of the main reasons he had come to the depths of the longevity secret zone. It was also the foundation for him to continue improving his physical strength and complete his earth dragon body. Good lad, you are not bad. You are to my liking. When I recover my cultivation, I will bring you to the war god continent to see the true peerless geniuses. The old goat laughed, raised his hooves, and knocked on Ling Xiao's arm. His face was full of smiles. A man and a goat flew across the sky, crossing one majestic mountain range after another, and finally arrived at a swamp. The swamp was filled with fog. The surroundings looked very peaceful, but there was a faint sense of danger. Lad, someone is following us. The old goat knocked on Ling Xiao with his hooves and said softly, I know. They are all my enemies. Since they want to die, I will fulfill their wish. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. Hee hee, if those fellows do not know what is good for them, I do not mind teaching them an unforgettable lesson. The old goat laughed, and a faint light flashed in his eyes. Although the aura behind him was faint, Ling Xiao could easily sense that it was the people of the Wanshou sect. Ling Xiao and the old goat landed in the middle of the swamp and arrived in front of a very ordinary-looking puddle. Is the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond here? The old goat was a little surprised. He did not feel any fluctuations from the array. That's right. It is here. Previously, it was sealed underground by my master's array. I wonder how much Golden Wind Jade Dew there has been in the past tens of thousands of years. Ling Zhao's eyes showed a trace of anticipation. Buzz. Ling Zhao's hands emitted a bright light, and mysterious runes flew out. Then, he formed a seal with his hands, and runes fell in all directions. A mysterious aura spread out, as if it was resonating because of the seals formed by Ling Zhao's hands. Rumble! The puddle in front of them actually cracked open, and a vast aura was emitted from it. Endless earth energy rose, and a bright golden light spewed out. A brilliant golden pond slowly rose from the ground. It was ancient and vicissitudes of life, and a majestic aura spread out. Ling Xiao could see that although the golden pond was only 100 feet wide, it was mottled and ancient, and there was a mysterious power of law flowing around it. The golden pond did not look regular, as if some kind of golden bone had been hollowed out to form the golden pond. What excited Ling Xiao the most was that there was a wisp of golden mist rising from the golden pond, and there was a thin layer of liquid in the golden pond that contained vast and majestic energy fluctuations. Golden Wind Jade Dew. This was the Golden Wind Jade Dew. Ling Xiao and the old goat were very excited, and they stared at the golden pond without moving. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, a few powerful sonic booms came through the air and landed in front of Ling Xiao. It was a group of experts with cold auras. They were both young and old, and they all looked at Ling Xiao with cold, murderous intent. They also looked at the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond with excitement. Ha! Ling Xiao, I didn't think that there would be such a precious golden pond here. As repayment, I'll give you a quick death. I won't let you die so quickly. An old laugh sounded, and an old man in the lead walked out, emitting a majestic aura all over, causing the void to tremble slightly. Beside the old man, there was a middle-aged man with killing intent on his face. He stared at Ling Xiao with a cold expression. Su Liangqing and He Qing. Ling Xiao recognized these two people at a glance. Chapter 351. Wanshou Sect? What? Tiger King's death didn't teach you a lesson? Ling Xiao glanced at Su Liangqing and He Qing as he spoke. Those from the Wild Blade sect were there as well. Ling Xiao understood that the Wild Blade sect must have been upset that Ling Xiao had stolen Wolf King's demonic pearl, so they went to the Wanshou sect to ask for help. It was this group of people who had followed Ling Xiao. The sect leader of the Wild Blade sect, Wang Jiandong, really made Ling Xiao think highly of him. He knew when to yield and when to stand tall. Knowing that he wasn't Ling Xiao's match, he simply lowered his head and went to look for the Wanshou sect, wanting to borrow a knife to kill Ling Xiao. However, it was a pity that Ling Xiao was no pushover. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Su Liangqing and He Qing's faces darkened. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent, especially Su Liangqing. As a half-step noble realm expert, it was a great humiliation for him to let Ling Xiao kill Tiger King in front of him. Because of Tiger King's death, the Wanshou sect lost a genius. Su Liangqing was scolded by the sect leader, which made him hate Ling Xiao even more. Little bastard, you can talk all you want. Without Xia Huang and the rest, I'll see who can save you today. Su Liangqing stared coldly at Ling Xiao and said word by word. I don't need anyone to save me. I'll bet that you can't kill me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. You're just a half-step noble realm ant. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? When I'm at my peak, I can kill you with a breath. The old goat crossed its two hooves in front of its chest and looked at Su Liangqing with disdain. It had a very arrogant appearance. Who are you? A rank 5 goat can actually talk? Su Liangqing's gaze turned cold. He was also a little surprised. The old goat looked like it was only at the 5th step of cultivation, but it could actually speak human language. You're the goat. Your whole family are goats. I've been through the ages and swallowed the heavens and the earth. I'm the sky-devouring emperor. Why don't you kneel before me? The goat was so angry that he jumped up and pointed at Su Liangqing with his hooves. Emperor? What an arrogant tone. A goat demon dares to be so arrogant. A pet should have the self-awareness of a pet. Otherwise, if you offend someone you shouldn't, you won't even know how you died. Su Liangqing glanced at the goat, his eyes blazing with killing intent. Legend has it that in ancient times, the great emperor was the lord of the gods, the lord of the myriad worlds. He controlled the cycle of life, death, and reincarnation and was omnipotent. At the end of the ancient mythological era, there was a great war between the gods. The great emperor had long since disappeared, and even the gods had left this world. A mere rank 5 goat actually dared to call itself emperor. This made Su Liangqing feel both amused and hateful. This goat's mouth was really asking for a beating. Who are you calling a pet? Your ancestor is a pet. Half of your body is already in the ground, but you're still only half a step away from the noble plane. You've wasted your entire life. Get your ass over here. I guarantee that I'll beat you up so badly that even your mother won't be able to recognize you. The word "peh" infuriated the goat, causing all the black fur on its body to stand on end. It glared at Su Liangqing with an unfriendly expression and said angrily, "Bastard, you're courting death." A cold light flashed across Su Liangqing's eyes, and he immediately slapped at the goat. Boom! Su Liangqing's angry attack carried the momentum of heaven and earth and contained unparalleled power. The palm print swept across the sky and pressed down like a divine mountain. Even Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. This was the power of heaven and earth's will. It could dominate heaven and earth and control one's own body. Zhou Tian was a noble plane. With Ling Zhao's current strength, he was no match for Su Liangqing at all. Are you serious? Old bastard, you hit me just because you can't win an argument. You're really a bastard. The old goat let out a strange cry and wanted to escape. However, how could Su Liangqing's palm be so easily dodged? Suddenly, the palm landed on the old goat's body. Vast divine power gushed out, and the old goat was sent flying hundreds of meters away by Su Liangqing's palm. Old bastard, if I wasn't severely injured, I would have slapped you to death with one slap. Just you wait. When I recover my cultivation, I'll visit your ancestral grave. The old goat said in exasperation. Su Liangqing was shocked and angry. He was shocked that he could not kill a rank 5 goat with one slap even though he was half a step away from the noble plane. Moreover, the old goat did not seem to be injured at all. His body was still smooth and shiny. Where did this old goat come from? You're courting death. The old goat's words ignited Su Liangqing's anger. He pointed his finger at the old goat with a sharpness that could pierce through everything. Again? Old bastard, do you have any shame? It hurts. The old goat shrieked in fear. He could not dodge Su Liangqing's attack and was hit by Su Liangqing's finger. He screamed in pain and flew dozens of meters away. Su Liangqing looked at the old goat and was so angry that his nose was about to become crooked. The old goat kept shrieking, but there was not a single injury on his body. His fur was like silk and emitted a faint spiritual light. He howled in pain but was not injured at all. Ling Zhao had a faint smile on his face. The old goat had already cultivated the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Although his Dao injuries were severe, he had once formed a paragon body. Su Liangqing could not hurt him, and the cauldron had already absorbed the energy. Little bastard, pay with your life for my son's sake. Murderous intent flashed in He Qing's eyes. His expression was ferocious as he pulled out a glittering long sword and charged towards Ling Zhao. Brat, hurry up and think of something. If this goes on, we won't be a match for these guys. The old goat flew to Ling Zhao's side and said with a long face, Let's go to the Golden Wind Jade Dupont. Ling Zhao smiled and ignored Su Liangqing and He Qing. Instead, he pulled the old goat and flew toward the golden wind Jade Pond. Stop him! Su Liangqing and the others' eyes flashed. Although they did not know what Ling Xiao was planning, the golden wind Jade Pond was a precious treasure that could not fall into his hands. Ryuumble! Su Liangqing attacked with incredible speed, sending a dazzling beam of light toward Ling Xiao and the old goat, hoping to cut them down and prevent them from entering the golden wind Jade Pond. The beam of light pierced through Ling Xiao, but Su Liangqing quickly realized that it was only an afterimage. The real Ling Xiao had already flown into the golden wind Jade Pond with the old goat. Whiz! The golden wind Jade Pond shone with a dazzling golden light that wrapped around Ling Xiao and the old goat. Su Liangqing and He Qing's attacks hit the surface of the pond, causing ripples to spread out. However, they were incapable of entering the pond. Attack the pond and kill Ling Xiao and the old goat. Chapter 352. Rumble. The golden wind Jade Pond trembled slightly as runes spread out. A divine light enchantment like water blocked Su Liangqing's attack. Ripples appeared on the barrier and it began to tremble slightly as if it would break at any moment. There's so much golden wind Jade? After entering the golden wind Jade pool, Ling Xiao and the old goat's eyes were filled with excitement. Golden and dense wind filled the golden wind Jade pool. It was as if the amber dew had sunk to the bottom of the pool. Although it was only a thin layer, it contained extremely terrifying power. Under the influence of the laws of heaven and earth, the god's corpse turned into golden wind Jade. It was the power of heaven and earth and contained an extremely mysterious power. After tens of thousands of years of nurturing, the amount of golden wind Jade pool made Ling Xiao and the old goat extremely happy. Kid, although the golden wind Jade pool has a barrier, it doesn't look very strong. It can't withstand the attack of a noble realm expert. Aren't you afraid that those old bastards outside will break the barrier? The golden wind Jade pool trembled. Hearing the voice from outside, the old goat's eyes turned solemn. What's there to be afraid of? If they want to break through the boundary of the golden wind Jade Pond, even a noble realm expert would need a day. One day is enough for me to do a lot of things. Plus, if they can't break the barrier, it won't be fun. Ling Xiao chuckled as a trace of coldness appeared in his eyes. Since the people of the Wanshou sect were so persistent, he didn't mind teaching them an unforgettable lesson. You're right. With so much golden wind Jade, it's enough for my Dao injury to recover a little. Then I'll kill that old bastard. The old goat snorted as he looked at Su Liangqing with displeasure in his eyes. Although Su Liangqing's attack couldn't hurt him, the old goat was the sky-devouring emperor. When had he ever suffered such a loss? Buzz. The old goat sat down with his hind legs crossed like a human. He placed his front legs in front of him and formed a seal with his hooves. He looked like a three-legged cauldron and exuded a mysterious aura. A golden divine light pervaded the air. The old goat had a dignified appearance. Its black fur emitted a golden radiance. A cauldron with 3 legs and 2 handles slowly floated up into appearance between its 2 hooves. It was dazzling with golden light, and it was ancient and mysterious. The mouth of the cauldron sprayed with divine light, and it was like a mysterious vortex in the sea of stars that erupted with an extremely powerful suction force. Rumble. The golden wind Jade pool turned into a divine light storm and rushed towards the mouth of the cauldron. King Cauldron. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a glint appeared in his eyes. The golden wind Jade cauldron was the cauldron in his previous life. Was the golden wind Jade pool's cauldron. The sky-devouring golden lotus was already very terrifying. Not only could it devour spirit qi, but it could also devour true qi, demonic qi, fiend qi, and other types of energy in the bodies of living beings. But the king heaven-devouring cauldron could devour anything and everything. It could even steal longevity, destiny, and latent talent. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had been immortal, but in the end, he had become a natural-born god spirit. That was because he had used the king heaven-devouring cauldron to devour the latent talent and destiny of countless chosen. The king heaven-devouring cauldron was the foundation of his Tao, and also his greatest reliance in his previous life. Therefore, when he saw the king heaven-devouring cauldron, he couldn't help but sigh. Once my fleshly body power reaches the perfect level, I can use the 9 heavens spirit-melting grass and other precious materials to break through to the flying dragon body. When that happens, not even Su Liangqing will be a match for me. Eyes glittering, Ling Xiao sat down cross-legged in the middle of the golden wind jade dew pool. Rumble! Powerful heaven-devouring true qi permeated the air. Wisps of golden wind swept across the sky and diffused into Ling Xiao's body. Drops of raindrops melted and began to nourish Ling Xiao's body. The metal wind was the power of the Great Path. After it entered Ling Xiao's body was originally pure and flawless. His divine flesh and bones emitted a jade-like luster without any impurities. However, under the scouring of the wind, traces of black impurities emerged. The golden wind was as sharp as a blade, filled with explosive power. It was like heavenly lightning that began to temper Ling Xiao's flesh, bones, and meridians. It was almost as if Ling Xiao's fleshly body was made of iron, and was being burned by fire and tempered by a hammer. It was using intense methods to grind away at the impurities. The pain was so intense that it felt like it was tearing Ling Xiao to pieces, and yet, he was able to maintain his clarity of mind. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the middle of the endless golden wind. In the face of such extreme pain, he did not even frown. His face was still calm, and a faint smile hung on his lips, as if he was a merciful Buddha. The jade dew nourished everything silently, and as it entered Ling Xiao's body, it began to heal the wounds in the places that the golden wind had destroyed. It was like a phoenix bathing in fire, and Ling Xiao's fleshly body became stronger and stronger. Cracks even began to appear on Ling Xiao's body. The golden wind seeped out of the cracks, and its sharpness was unparalleled, as if it wanted to shatter Ling Xiao's fleshly body completely. However, as the heaven-devouring true energy surged, a golden lotus floated above Ling Xiao's head, and rays of divine light fell from it. It was dazzling, and turned into runes to maintain the vitality in Ling Xiao's body. Just like that, under the destruction of the golden wind and the nourishment of the jade dew, Ling Xiao's fleshly body began to slowly strengthen. After all, the golden wind and jade dew pool contained the laws of great Tao and the essence of gods. It was not something that ordinary people could endure. 10,000 years ago, when the longevity sect was obtained, only noble realm cultivators or even monarch realm cultivators dared to use the golden wind and jade dew to temper their fleshly body and forge a supreme battle constitution. However, Ling Xiao's fleshly body was already extremely strong. With the body of the earth dragon, Ling Xiao's fleshly body was comparable to a peak 6th rank monster. Compared to a noble realm cultivator, he only lacked the tempering of the world's will. The fleshly body forged with the golden wind and jade dew had the effects of the laws of great Tao. Some of the flaws that Ling Xiao did not notice when he cultivated the secret technique of the ancestral dragon began to be fixed, and it became perfect. Those small flaws did not seem like much now, but in the future, it was very likely that they would become bottlenecks that would shackle Ling Xiao from reaching the peak. Therefore, the golden wind and jade dew was no different from a great fortune to Ling Xiao. Rumble! Outside the golden wind and jade dew pool, the space trembled, and ripples spread out from the barrier like ripples. Those runes were like candlelight in the wind, flickering as if they would shatter at any moment. Damn it! What kind of treasure is this golden wind and jade dew pool? Why is there such a powerful barrier? Su Liangqing, He Qing, and the others became slightly anxious after attacking for a long time without success. They did not know what fortuitous encounter Ling Xiao had obtained in the golden wind, and the longer this dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. He Qing, summon the experts of the Myriad Beast sect. No matter what, we must kill Ling Xiao today. Chapter 353. Boom! A dazzling firework shot up into the sky and exploded in the sky, forming the shadow of a giant beast that shook the heavens. Is that the 1,000 miles of mist? This is an emergency summon from the Wan Shou sect. Let's go and take a look. Could it be that they have encountered a strong enemy? Who dares to touch the people of the Wan Shou sect? Kill without mercy. Some of the disciples of the Wansho sect raised their heads and looked at the shadow of the giant beast in the sky. Their eyes were filled with shock. Swoosh, swoosh. Many powerful figures soared into the sky and flew towards the direction where the 1,000 miles of mist exploded. In the Desolation Mountains, a beautiful figure covered in red flames flew across the sky. It was the Phoenix Girl of the Wansho sect. When the 1,000 miles of mist exploded in the sky, she happened to be within the range of the explosion. Her eyes were filled with surprise. Only the elders of the sect can have such a level of 1,000 miles of mist. Could it be that something big has happened? The Phoenix Girl's eyes flashed. She stepped on the clouds and flew towards the direction of the explosion. A golden void war chariot charged out from a boiling lava lake. It gave off a vast and ancient aura. There were countless ancient runes on it, making it look very mysterious. The chariot was ancient and made of mysterious metal. There were mysterious runes and patterns on it, but some parts were broken. Golden light gushed out, as if there was a golden sun supporting the chariot. It breathed in the essence of heaven and earth, majestic and domineering. Second uncle, this secret realm of immortality is really a good place. I didn't expect there to be a flame spiritual spring in the lava lake. My cultivation has finally reached level 9 of the Master Realm. Zhao Ritian sat on the void chariot, his black hair draped behind his head. His face was handsome and his eyes were filled with pride. He exuded an extremely powerful aura. I say, Ritian, look at you. What is a mere level 9 of the Master Realm to you? This secret realm of immortality is not ordinary. There must be countless precious treasures. As long as you are obedient, I promise you that you can break through to the celestial realm or even the noble realm. An old voice came from Zhao Ritian's body. Really? Thank you, second uncle. You are the best to me. Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. His eyes were filled with excitement. Second master, with this emperor war chariot, even if it is a celestial realm elite, I can kill him. It's a pity that the emperor's war chariot is already damaged. It can only unleash the power of a low-grade Dao artifact. Zhao Ritian caressed the ancient war chariot and looked at the broken runes and cracks on it. His eyes were filled with pain. You should be content. If it's a complete emperor chariot, it's a peerless grade Taoist instrument. If you're not a noble realm expert, you won't be able to activate the peerless grade Taoist instrument's power. Second uncle said snappily. Zhao Ritian nodded. Suddenly, he thought of something and asked, Second master, with my current strength and the emperor chariot, can I beat that bastard Ling Xiao? Zhao Ritian's words choked the second elder. He thought for a while and said, I advise you not to provoke Ling Xiao. That kid is very strange. Even I can't see through him. What's there to be afraid of? Could it be that he has 3 heads and 6 arms? If I really meet him, I'd like to see if he's a match for me. Zhao Ritian smiled proudly and said nonchalantly, Rumble. Right at this moment, a dazzling firework exploded in the void, and the projection of a giant beast appeared. It's the 1,000 miles of cloud from the Wansho sect? This is strange. Why is the Wansho sect gathering elites? Could it be that they have found some kind of treasure? Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. He immediately drove the emperor chariot across the sky. At the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool, Ling Xiao and the old goat were still cultivating. They were being tortured by the golden wind and nourished by the jade dew. They did not care about the people outside who were attacking the spiritual barrier. Outside the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool, many elites had gathered. Not only were there disciples from the Wansho sect, but there were also many elites from smaller sects and ancient families. After sensing the presence of the 1,000 miles of cloud, they all rushed over. Among them was the first prince of the great Huang ancient country, Huang Haifeng. Huang Haifeng walked over with majestic steps. Behind him was a shriveled old servant. He looked as if half of his body was already in the ground. His entire body was lethargic. However, when he opened his eyes, there was a hint of sharpness that made one's heart palpitate. The Phoenix woman had also arrived. As the pride of the 8 Desolation region and the goddess in everyone's heart, the arrival of the Phoenix woman had caused many young warriors to be excited. Their eyes were filled with passion. Other than the Phoenix woman, there was also a young man in black armor standing beside He Qing. His aura was very wild. The young man looked very handsome. He was tall and slender. His hair fluttered in the wind. There seemed to be a black vortex in his eyes that made people not dare to look at him directly. He stood there, exuding a heavy and ancient aura. He was like a divine mountain, unmoving like a mountain. Black Tortoise, you're here? Just nice. Your river diagram is a treasure that can break arrays. See if it can break the spiritual barrier of the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool. After Su Liangqing and He Qing saw that young man, their eyes revealed incomparably pleasantly surprised expressions. Among the 10,000 Beast 7 Scions, the strongest were naturally the Dragon Son and Phoenix Woman. Ranked third was the Turtle's son, the Black Tortoise, which was this young man in black armor. There were even people who said that the reason why the Black Tortoise was ranked third was because he usually kept a low profile. His true combat strength should be about the same as the Phoenix Woman, and not much worse than the Dragon Son. Because the Black Tortoise's cultivation was the same as the Phoenix Woman, also at the second level of the Heaven Realm. Is Ling Xiao really in this Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool? The Black Tortoise's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as he said indifferently. He Qing was slightly taken aback. He nodded and said, "That's right. Ling Xiao is already trapped in the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool. As long as we break the spiritual barrier, not only can we obtain the treasure inside, but we can also kill Ling Xiao and avenge the Tiger King." He Qing could see the killing intent in the Black Tortoise's eyes. Among the 10,000 Beast 7 Scions, the Tiger King and the Black Tortoise had the best relationship. They were practically as close as brothers. The Tiger King dying in Ling Xiao's hands, the one who was most furious was the Black Tortoise. It was just that the Black Tortoise did not find the opportunity to enter the longevity mystic realm. Now that he knew Ling Xiao's whereabouts, he naturally would not let Ling Xiao go. Alright, since that's the case, let him be buried with the Tiger King. The Black Tortoise said indifferently, the killing intent in his eyes was bone-chilling. Rumble. A vast and heavy aura exploded. The Black Tortoise took a step forward, causing the earth to shake. The vast innate qi around his body was like the waves of the sea, boundless and unparalleled. Chapter 354. That's the legendary river diagram? Someone's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of shock. The river diagram was a powerful doctrine artifact. Legend had it that it was refined by the Black Tortoise during the ancient times. However, after so many years, it was only a lower-grade doctrine artifact. The river diagram was an array-breaking treasure. It contained the mysteries of array Dao and could even absorb people into it. It was extremely powerful. The Black Tortoise has made his move. With the river diagram in hand, the bounded boundary will definitely be broken. I heard that Ling Xiao is hiding inside. I'm afraid he's a turtle in a jar. He's dead meat. Someone's eyes flashed as he whispered, "That's right. Ling Xiao is too arrogant. He's just a level 1 grandmaster. Although he has some talent, how dare he challenge the Wanshou sect? Without Xia Huang and the rest to back him up, he's dead meat. The Wanshou sect will definitely not let him go." I heard that the Black Tortoise and the Tiger King are good friends. The Black Tortoise must be trying to avenge the Tiger King. Hee, this is going to be a good show. Everyone had different expressions on their faces. Their eyes were fixed on the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond as they looked forward to what was going to happen next. Buzz. The river diagram appeared in the void and spread out. It turned into a huge scroll that was 100 feet long. It was ancient and mysterious. The mountains, rivers, lakes, suns, moons, and stars in the scroll seemed to have come alive. They emitted dazzling light and fell from the scroll. They intertwined with each other like divine chains of order and stretched toward the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond. Boom! Countless threads filled the air as if they were the laws of heaven and earth. The bounded boundary outside the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond started to buzz and tremble. Then, ripples appeared and it started to fluctuate violently. Everyone could see with their naked eyes that numerous small cracks had appeared on the bounded boundary. The cracks were getting bigger and bigger, and it seemed like the bounded boundary was going to break. The bounded boundary is going to be broken? Everyone's eyes lit up and they were suddenly energized. Su Liangqing and He Qing's eyes were cold and sharp. They stared at the golden wind jade dew pond and wanted to find Ling Xiao as soon as possible. Rumble. The river diagram emitted a gentle light. The intertwining divine chains of order seemed to have instantly captured the weakness of the enchantment and began to make the gap in the enchantment bigger and bigger. In the end, the barrier outside the golden wind jade dew pond shattered like cracked glass. A faint golden wind pervaded the air, and the resplendent dew worked, revealing the figures of Ling Xiao and the old goat. It really is Ling Xiao. Everyone's eyes flashed as they saw the young man sitting cross-legged in the golden wind jade dew pool. It was Ling Xiao. What is that? The golden wind is like the dew of amber. It must be an incomparably precious heavenly treasure. Someone exclaimed when he saw the golden wind and jade dew. His eyes were filled with excitement. Although they didn't recognize the origin of the golden wind and morning dew, everyone knew that this was definitely a supreme treasure when they saw the brilliant divine light flowing in the golden treasure pool and the mysterious power of laws contained within it. Is that a goat? Heavens, such a treasure was actually ruined by a goat? Ling Xiao is really a prodigal son. How can he let a goat ruin such a treasure? Someone saw the goat opposite Ling Xiao open its mouth and swallow the golden wind and jade dew. The goat's face revealed a human-like expression of intoxication. Immediately, someone pounded his chest and stamped his feet with a pained expression. Ling Xiao, get out here! Su Liangqing's eyes flashed and he immediately sent a palm strike towards Ling Xiao. He also saw that the golden wind and jade dew was a good item, so he didn't plan to give Ling Xiao any chance to become stronger. This palm strike encompassed both Ling Xiao and the old goat, wanting to force them out. Old bastard, it's you again? Do you really think this emperor doesn't dare to kill you? The old goat's eyes suddenly opened and 2 rays of golden divine light shot out. It was majestic and mysterious. However, in the next moment, the old goat's face revealed a flustered and exasperated expression, destroying that majestic image. He pointed at Su Liangqing and cursed loudly. Boom! The old goat stomped with its hoof, causing the void to tremble. It was as if a black thunderbolt had exploded in the void and instantly stomped on Su Liangqing's palm. A monstrous divine power came and Su Liangqing's expression changed. He immediately took a few steps back and his eyes revealed a look of extreme shock. He felt his arm go numb. The power of this palm strike was completely nullified by the old goat. Moreover, that despicable goat was still sitting in the golden wind and jade dew pond as if it wasn't affected at all. Just before Ling Xiao and the old goat entered the golden wind and jade dew pond, the old goat wasn't Su Liangqing's match. Although his skin was rough, Su Liangqing still beat him until he covered his head and ran away like a rat. However, after a short period of time, the old goat actually had the ability to match Su Liangqing's strength. This was too unbelievable. It's because of the golden wind and jade dew. Su Liangqing's eyes flashed and revealed an extremely greedy expression. If he could obtain the golden wind and jade dew, he might be able to break through to the noble realm. He had to obtain the golden wind and jade dew. However, the others weren't stupid either. They all stared at the golden wind and jade dew with burning eyes. Their chi was bursting out as if they were going to snatch it at any time. At this moment, Ling Xiao woke up from his cultivation. His eyes were like lightning, piercing through the void. His entire body exuded a mysterious and vast dragon might. He was like a humanoid true dragon, extremely powerful. Ling Xiao's cultivation was still at the 2nd level of the Grandmaster realm. His secret skill of the ancestral dragon was still at the 2nd level of the earth dragon body. Although there was no improvement, Ling Xiao was clearly different now. His body was flawless and his skin exuded a jade-like luster. His clothes were whiter than snow and his black hair was flying. Standing in the golden wind and jade dew pond, he was surrounded by golden divine light. His eyes were even brighter than the stars. Even Ling Xiao's enemies couldn't help but praise him. This was a perfect young man. It was as if he had obtained the fortune of heaven and earth, making people go crazy with jealousy. Buzz. Ling Xiao waved his hand and the remaining golden wind and jade dew flew into the jade gourd that he had prepared beforehand. Bastard, what are you doing? Ling Xiao, put down the golden wind and jade dew. Ling Xiao, hand over the golden wind and jade dew. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place. The experts who coveted the golden wind and jade dew were instantly enraged and scolded Ling Xiao one after another. Ling Xiao, hand over the golden wind and jade dew and I can make the decision to give you a quick death. Otherwise, when you fall into my hands, you will know what it means to beg for death. Su Liangqing stood out. His eyes were cold and his voice contained a cold, murderous intent. He was determined to obtain the golden wind and jade dew. This was related to his martial arts path and his great opportunity to break through to the noble realm. Whoever dared to stop him would be his enemy. Chapter 355. Ling Xiao put away the golden wind and morning dew and instantly became the target of public criticism. What angered them the most was that Ling Xiao had taken away the golden wind and morning dew when he couldn't even protect himself. He was courting death. The golden wind and morning dew is right here. Come and get it yourself if you dare. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as he looked at the crowd with sparkling eyes. A bunch of bastards. How dare you covet what's mine? Are you tired of living? The old goat glared at the crowd and roared. The old goat had tasted the sweetness of the golden wind and morning dew pond. The golden wind and morning dew contained the power of the great path law and had miraculous effects on its Tao injury. If they had not breached the barrier, the goat would have been able to use the golden wind and morning dew to heal its Tao injury. Therefore, the appearance of these people made the old goat very angry, especially now that they were eyeing the golden wind and morning dew. They had touched the old goat's reverse scale. What's that? A goat? A goat dares to yell at us? You're courting death. Ling Xiao is already arrogant enough. I didn't expect his pet to be even more arrogant. How dare it call itself emperor? Does it really think that it's an ancient shifter emperor? Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then they were enraged. Boom! Su Liangqing exuded a powerful aura that pressed down on Ling Xiao. He stepped in the air and the will of heaven and earth exploded. It was filled with a heavenly aura that made everyone's heart palpitate. Ling Xiao, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the golden wind and morning dew or die. Su Liangqing's voice was cold as he stared at Ling Xiao. Old bastard, do you believe that I'll bite you to death? How dare you be so arrogant when you're only a half step to the noble plane? I could kill a bunch of people like you with a single breath back then. The old goat looked at Su Liangqing with disdain. Good, very good. If that's the case, I'll send you to hell. Su Liangqing's eyes were filled with murderous intent as a terrifying aura exploded around him. He slammed his palm down on Ling Xiao and the old goat. The palm print was vast and contained a powerful heavenly aura. It was as if the world had been turned upside down. It was unavoidable and one could only face it. Old bastard, I'll send you to see your grandfather. The old goat coldly snorted and immediately kicked Su Liangqing's palm. It instantly became 10,000 feet large and collided with Su Liangqing's palm. Rumble! The void trembled as the huge palm shattered. The old goat turned into a black beam of light with extreme speed. Its hooves were aimed at Su Liangqing's face. Su Liangqing's eyes revealed a look of shock and anger. His nose was about to become crooked from anger. This bastard goat's move was very wretched. One of its hooves was aimed at his face, while the other was aimed at his crotch. If that part of his body was hit, Su Liangqing's entire body shuddered as he felt his lower body turn cold. Bang! Su Liangqing's palm slashed down and collided with the old goat's attack. At the same time, bright runes filled his palm and turned into several bolts of light. He wanted to grab the old goat's hooves and kill it. Boom! There seemed to be a layer of black runes on the old goat's hooves. They instantly broke free from Su Liangqing's palm and turned into countless shadows that smashed towards Su Liangqing. Old bastard, take my goat emperor fist. The old goat roared as its eyes darted around. Its blood boiled as it exuded a vast physical strength that seemed to be able to crush the sky. Su Liangqing was shocked. He immediately unleashed the power of a half-step noble. Innate divine shield surrounded him as he prepared to deal with the old goat's attack. However, the thunderous attack that he expected did not come. The old goat made a feint and turned around, pointing its butt at Su Liangqing. What? Su Liangqing's eyes flashed as he suddenly had a bad feeling. Rumble. Like a thunderous explosion, a heavenly river burst. An earth-shattering sound was heard as a black gas spread out and enveloped Su Liangqing. The old goat actually farted at Su Liangqing. Su Liangqing's body stiffened and his face twisted as if he had seen a ghost. He let out a shrill scream. Ah! The old goat's fart shattered Su Liangqing's protective aura. The stench was indescribable, as if it was the filthiest thing in the world. It caused Su Liangqing's body to churn as if his organs were about to fall out. Clang. At this moment, the wretched old goat found an opportunity. Taking advantage of the moment Su Liangqing was distracted, it immediately kicked Su Liangqing's face with its hoof. That peerless divine power exploded, and Su Liangqing felt as if he was struck by lightning. Half of his face swelled up, and his flesh was badly mutilated. How terrifying was the old goat's physical body! This was a supreme demon sovereign from 10,000 years ago. Although his Dao injuries were severe, a single stomp from him was enough to topple a mountain, let alone Su Liangqing. Su Liangqing spat out a mouthful of blood as his face burned with pain. The old goat's fart made him cry. It was simply an eyesore. Su Liangqing's lungs were about to explode from anger. His eyes were filled with incomparable resentment. He was the grand elder of the Wanshou sect. Normally, other than the sect master and the supreme elders, even the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect were very respectful to him. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Especially when he was bullied by a goat. If this were to spread, it would be a great humiliation. Countless people would mock and ridicule him. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. Who would have thought that the wretched old goat's strength would be so terrifying? Even Su Liangqing suffered a great loss in its hands. Could it be that the old goat is a demon king? Someone thought of a possibility and said with a trembling voice, "Very likely. Have you ever seen a demon beast that can speak? I heard that only after breaking through to the demon king realm and refining the hyoid bone to take human form can they speak. I think this old goat is a demon king." A white-haired old man said with a solemn look in his eyes. When they thought of this possibility, everyone's expression became even more serious. There was even a trace of panic. If the old goat was really a demon king, they would be courting death if they dared to have any ideas about Ling Shao. Rumble. At this moment, an ancient scroll suddenly unfolded in the void. It emitted a vast and ancient aura. Mountains, rivers, lakes, the sun, the moon, and the stars were like another world. It instantly enveloped the old goat. Is that the river diagram? Chapter 356. Black Tortoise made his move. He wore black armor and his long hair fluttered in the wind. His body was slender and strong, and his eyes flashed with a cold light. The river diagram flew into the sky and wrapped around the old goat, keeping it inside. Bastard from the Wanshou sect, how dare you sneak attack me? The old goat was planning to stomp on Su Liangqing's head again. It didn't notice that someone was going to attack it. As a result, the river diagram wrapped around it in an instant. The old goat was so angry that it cursed loudly. However, it disappeared in a flash. The river diagram emitted a bright light and turned into a red cloak. It fell from the sky and covered Black Tortoise. The red cloak was like a flame with mysterious symbols flowing on it. An ancient aura filled the air, making Black Tortoise look like a peerless god of war. His cold eyes fell on Ling Shao. "Prepare to pay with your life for the Tiger King," Black Tortoise said coldly. His voice was like thunder, exploding in the sky. Everyone's eardrums were buzzing and their faces turned pale. Lord Black Tortoise has made his move. Is that the legendary Black Tortoise's supreme treasure, the Taoist artifact river diagram? That arrogant old goat was actually kept by Lord Black Tortoise. That's amazing! Everyone exclaimed, their eyes filled with astonishment. Everyone saw the battle between the old goat and Su Liangqing. Although the old goat's moves were wretched, it was undeniable that his combat strength was extremely strong. Otherwise, Su Liangqing would not have suffered such a great loss. That was why everyone guessed that the wretched old goat was an expert of the Monster King realm. However, they did not expect Black Tortoise to keep the old goat in the river diagram. Legend has it that the river diagram is a creation treasure. During the ancient times, the Black Tortoise sovereign refined a Milky Way that connected the mortal and divine realms into the diagram to form the river diagram. At its peak, the river diagram was a supreme being artifact. Although the river diagram's power has decreased greatly, with this supreme being artifact, Lord Black Tortoise is invincible. Ling Xiao is in danger. That's right. I think Ling Xiao was able to kill Tiger King because Tiger King underestimated him. However, Lord Black Tortoise is different. Not only is his cultivation far superior to Ling Xiao's, he also has the river diagram as a precious treasure to protect himself. Ling Xiao is dead for sure. Ling Xiao is still too young. Even though he's talented, he still dared to offend the Wanshou sect. I'm afraid he's going to die in the secret territory of immortality. Everyone was discussing animatedly as they looked at Ling Xiao with different expressions. The Tiger King was a good friend of the Black Tortoise. If Ling Xiao killed the Tiger King, the Black Tortoise would definitely not let Ling Xiao off. He would definitely kill Ling Xiao to avenge the Tiger King. As for the battle between the two, no one was optimistic about Ling Xiao's chances. What a great 10,000 beasts 7 scions. So they're all vile characters who take advantage of others' difficulties. I think your name is really appropriate. Gizi, you really are the son of a bastard turtle. Ling Xiao glanced at the Black Tortoise with a cold look in his eyes. He could see that the river diagram was indeed very powerful. However, if the Black Tortoise had not suddenly launched a sneak attack, the old goat would not have fallen so easily. The Black Tortoise's gaze turned cold as he said coldly, Ling Xiao, you're about to die and you still dare to talk nonsense. I can't help but admire your courage. I'll send you and your pet to reunite later and bury you in my river diagram forever. Is that so? I'm afraid you don't have the ability to do that. Ling Xiao's expression was very calm as he looked at the Black Tortoise. Ling Xiao, you're indeed very talented. I admit that even in the Wanshou sect, perhaps only the Dragon Son's talent can compete with yours. However, if you're talented and arrogant without strength, you're destined to die without a burial ground. The Black Tortoise's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he looked at Ling Xiao condescendingly. His voice was incomparably cold. You're the one who's going to die without a burial ground. It's just a river diagram. In my eyes, it's nothing. If I can kill the Tiger King, killing you will be as easy as killing a dog. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice was incomparably decisive and revealed an invisible domineering aura. Everyone was stunned. With the river diagram, the Black Tortoise was already in an invincible position. Yet Ling Xiao still dared to say such words. Did he really have the confidence, or was he scared silly? This brat must have lost his mind. I'd like to see if he still dares to be arrogant after being beaten up by the Black Tortoise senior brother. Huang Haifeng's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he said disdainfully. Being defeated by Ling Xiao outside the longevity secret territory was a great humiliation. Now that Ling Xiao was in a desperate situation and had the entire world as his enemy, Huang Haifeng's heart was indescribably happy. The bastard? Even in the face of death, a dead pig is still not afraid of boiling water? The Black Tortoise is not someone the Tiger King can compare to. With the river diagram in hand, the Black Tortoise is already in an invincible position. Even the Dragon's Son can't break his defense. Among the crowd, the Phoenix woman saw Ling Xiao's nonchalant look and for some reason, she was so angry that her teeth itched. If not for the Black Tortoise, she would have personally taught this brat a lesson. Second Elder, it seems like I don't have to do anything. Ling Xiao is dead for sure. Life is as lonely as snow. I, Zhao Ritian, only have myself as my opponent. Zhao Ritian stood on the emperor chariot with his hands behind his back. His eyes were filled with arrogance. According to the current situation, Ling Xiao has no chance of escaping alive. However, this brat is very strange. I still have a feeling that this brat will not die. The voice of the second elder sounded. Zhao Ritian was stunned as he stared at Ling Xiao. This brat is only at the Grandmaster realm. Not to mention Su Liangqing, he can't even defeat the Black Tortoise. Could it be that he really has a trump card? Seeing Ling Xiao's calm expression, Zhao Ritian's heart skipped a beat. The more he thought about it, the more likely it was. When Ling Xiao made a bet with him, he had the same expression. Hee, this brat is getting more and more cunning. It seems like the people from the Wanshou sect are going to be tricked by him again. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to watch the show. Zhao Ritian chuckled as he lay down on the emperor chariot. His face was filled with satisfaction as he looked at Ling Xiao and the Black Tortoise, anticipating the battle that was about to happen. Very good. You're arrogant enough. I hope you can still be so stubborn later. A cold light flashed in the Black Tortoise's eyes as he took a step forward in the air. Terrifying innate chi spread out from his body like a vast ocean, pressing down on Ling Xiao. Boom! Black lightning exploded as if it was going to split the ocean apart. A black metal rod appeared in the Black Tortoise's hand. It looked ancient and simple with faint runes shining on it. Obviously, it was not an ordinary item. The Black Tortoise's rod slashed down on Ling Xiao's head. It was like a bolt of black lightning that pierced through the sky. It contained a vast amount of energy. Good timing. Chapter 357. Bang. Ling Xiao's punch was like a dragon as his terrifying blood chi burst out from his body. It was as if a primordial true dragon had awakened from the darkness, emitting an aura that could shock the heavens and the earth. The punch landed on the iron staff and a bright light burst out. Runes filled the air and a terrifying force spread through the iron staff towards Black Tortoise's body. Black Tortoise's eyes flashed with a trace of shock. His body instantly rose into the air and spun rapidly like a top. Endless rays of light shrouded him as black lightning fell from the 9 heavens and poured into the iron staff in his hand. Boom! When Black Tortoise's aura rose to its peak, he smashed the staff downwards. Suddenly, a black sea spread out behind Black Tortoise as if a huge Black Tortoise was coming down from the sky to suppress Ling Xiao. Black Tortoise Sky Staff. Black Tortoise shouted. The coldness in his eyes was like ice that would never melt. It swept across the sky with monstrous waves. It's the Black Tortoise Sky Staff? This is the ultimate move of the Black Tortoise True Technique. I didn't expect Senior Brother Black Tortoise to have cultivated this heaven-level martial art to such an extent. It seems like Senior Brother Black Tortoise wants to suppress Ling Xiao directly. A disciple of the Wanshou sect exclaimed with excitement in his eyes. The Black Tortoise Sky Staff was said to be able to communicate with the spirit of the Black Tortoise and summon the unparalleled divine power of the Black Tortoise to suppress everything. This move was the ultimate move of the Black Tortoise True Technique. Only those who had cultivated the Black Tortoise True Technique to the Great Completion realm could unleash the power of this move. Ling Xiao is going to lose. The crowd below felt that the sky was filled with shadows of the staff. The heavens and the earth dimmed as if everything in the world was going to be crushed by this staff. The Black Tortoise Sky Staff exuded a powerful aura that could destroy everything. It made the crowd's scalp tingle. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he felt a strong threat. Suddenly, his body bloomed with golden light and his eyes revealed an incomparably powerful battle intent. 4 elephants heaven striking style. Ling Xiao faced the giant shadow of the staff in the sky and clenched his fists. 4 beams of dazzling divine light erupted from his body and shot up into the sky, transforming into the divine power of the 4 symbols of earth, water, wind, and fire. At the same time, traces of chaotic chi spread out. Rumble! The sky shook violently. The divine light of the 4 guardians was like 4 heavenly pillars. It collided with the Black Tortoise heavenly staff. Black cracks spread out in the void. The talisman was instantly shattered. The violent explosion almost deafened everyone. Everyone revealed an incomparably shocked expression. The Black Tortoise was one thing. He was already at the heaven tier in the first place. Coupled with the power of the black tortoise sky-reaching staff, he was able to unleash a power comparable to the 5th or 6th layer of the heaven tier. However, Ling Xiao was only at the 2nd level of the supreme power realm. How could he unleash the power of the celestial being realm? Just what kind of heaven-defying martial art was that terrifying 4 symbols divine light? At this moment, even the slowest person understood that the martial arts that Ling Xiao cultivated was definitely not ordinary. It was at least a heaven-class martial arts, or perhaps even more powerful. The 4 guardian divine lights exploded. The black tortoise heavenly staff actually pierced through the void. It was wrapped in unparalleled divine power and crushed everything. It directly blasted Ling Xiao dozens of feet away. Ling Xiao, you're definitely going to die. Although the black tortoise was shocked by the terrifying power that Ling Xiao could unleash, he felt that Ling Xiao was still weaker than him. Suddenly, his heart was filled with information. He held the iron staff in his hand and continued to attack Ling Xiao. Is this the power of the black tortoise heavenly staff? It's really strong, but unfortunately, it's still too weak. Although Ling Xiao was blasted dozens of feet away, his body floated down like a goose feather. He did not suffer any injuries at all. Feeling the power of the black tortoise heavenly staff, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. He said something contradictory. The black tortoise heavenly staff was indeed very strong. It could even break through Ling Xiao's 4 symbols hitting the sky. However, the black tortoise heavenly staff was weak because it had not reached the level that Ling Xiao had imagined. There was a limit to its strength. Rumble. The vast sea was turbulent. The iron staff in the black tortoise's hand fell. It was wrapped in vast divine power and summoned the spirit of the black tortoise to suppress Ling Xiao. Kill! Ling Xiao shouted. He unleashed his terrifying physical strength and began to fight with all his might. Although he had not broken through to the flying dragon constitution, Ling Xiao's earth dragon constitution had completely broken through to the complete realm. His entire body was flawless and his physical strength was unparalleled. Moreover, there seemed to be a mysterious and vast dragon power flowing in his blood. It made his every move like a real dragon. Before he killed his opponent, he would seize his opponent's soul. 5 elements sky ceiling style. Ling Xiao's fist was like a mountain. It was vast and majestic. He used the sky-devouring golden lotus to mobilize the 5 elements origin energy of heaven and earth. In an instant, a vast fist aura realm was formed. The 5 elements divine light filled the air. With Ling Xiao as the center, a mysterious realm seemed to appear around him. When the black tortoise entered this realm, his body was instantly suppressed. What made the black tortoise feel uncomfortable was that this realm seemed to have isolated the power of heaven and earth. The power that erupted from his iron staff was instantly reduced by 50%. Boom! Ling Xiao's fist landed on the iron staff. It was as if an Archean ferocious beast had crashed into it. The black tortoise felt an unparalleled force coming at him. The river diagram began to emit rays of spiritual light to counteract the attack of that terrifying force. Bang, bang, bang. Ling Xiao's fist landed one after another. The 5-element sky ceiling style isolated all forces, causing the black tortoise to become extremely weak. It was as if he had been reduced to a punching bag. In an instant, Ling Xiao had landed dozens of punches on him. However, the river diagram on his body was like the strongest shield. It blocked all the forces that erupted from Ling Xiao's fists. Ling Xiao, I have the river diagram. You can't kill me. On the contrary, you'll die. No one can save you. The black tortoise's eyes were blazing with killing intent as he roared. He knew that Ling Xiao was extremely talented and had great combat strength. He could even kill the Tiger King. However, when he really fought with Ling Xiao, he felt that he had underestimated him. When this young man fought, he was simply like a demon god. He erupted with power that made heaven and earth tremble. His endless methods made the black tortoise feel incomparably fearful. This young man must not be allowed to live. Otherwise, he would become a huge threat. Therefore, the black tortoise was even more determined to kill Ling Xiao. Descend of the black tortoise, destroy the world. The black tortoise roared. Suddenly, black divine light surged around his body. An ancient and mysterious aura awakened from his body. Countless black chi gushed out and broke free from the five-element sky ceiling style's realm in an instant. The black tortoise stood in the void. The vast sea behind him bobbed up and down. A huge black tortoise slowly appeared as if it had come from another world. It emitted a force that caused the void to tremble. The spirit of the black tortoise had descended. Chapter 358. An earth-shattering roar resounded. It was as if the sky had been shattered. The vast sea covered the sky and covered the earth. The huge black tortoise looked very ferocious as it rushed towards Ling Xiao to suppress him. This is the power of the black tortoise's bloodline? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the Xuanwu in the sky. The Xuanwu's body was shining brightly, and its blood qi was surging. A mysterious power had awakened in its blood, and it had formed a mysterious connection with the Xuanwu. This was the power of the black tortoise's bloodline. It contained the destructive power of the ancient black tortoise. It was also the strongest trump card of the black tortoise. After the black tortoise appeared, even Su Liangqing, He Qing, and the others had a serious look on their faces. I didn't expect the black tortoise's bloodline to be so pure that it could trigger the power of the black tortoise's ancestor. Ling Xiao is in danger. Phoenix Woman's eyes flashed. The black tortoise was usually very low-key. Phoenix Woman had only seen the true power of the black tortoise today. With the power of the black tortoise's bloodline and the protection of the river diagram, even Phoenix Woman knew that she was no match for the black tortoise. Ling Xiao's figure was so tiny in the face of the black tortoise in the sky. However, there was no fear in Ling Xiao's eyes. Instead, they were filled with a strong desire to fight. A terrifying aura rose from Ling Xiao's body. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out, and it was as if 6 holes gushing with divine light had appeared behind him, faintly leading to an unknown world. Mysterious laws spread out. A domineering aura, as if everything was under his control, shot towards the black tortoise in the sky. 6 paths of reincarnation. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with golden light. Blood qi surged from his body. A powerful dragon aura spread out, making Ling Xiao look like a real dragon. Boom! A huge fist print flew across the sky and hit the black tortoise in the sky. The 6 paths of reincarnation spread out as if it was going to turn the world into chaos. The black tortoise's body was tens of thousands of feet long, terrifying beyond compare. Around its body, a black vortex spread out. It opened its mouth and swallowed Ling Xiao's fist. At the same time, a powerful suction force appeared. Sand and pebbles flew everywhere as the ancient trees exploded. The ferocious mouth opened and swallowed Ling Xiao into the black tortoise's stomach. Up in the sky, the black tortoise's aura was monstrous. It was ancient and mysterious. Ling Xiao was swallowed just like that? Someone exclaimed, his voice trembling with disbelief. Everyone's face turned pale. The black tortoise in the sky was too oppressive. Even though everyone knew that it was only the power of the black tortoise's bloodline, they still couldn't help but tremble. As expected of the bloodline of the black tortoise. No matter how strong Ling Xiao's talent is, it's impossible for him to be a match for the spirit of the black tortoise. He's dead for sure now. What a pity, a genius has fallen just like that. The Golden Wind and Jade Dew must have fallen into the hands of the Wanshou sect. What a pity. Everyone was discussing among themselves, their voices filled with sighs. Oof, Ling Xiao is finally dead. I knew he was no match for Senior Black Tortoise. It's too easy for him to die just like that. It's all right. Once we find the disciples of the Changsun sect, we'll kill them all and let the entire Changsun sect be buried with Senior Tiger King. Only death awaits those who dare to go against the Wanshou sect. Many of the disciples of the Changsun sect had cold looks in their eyes. They knew that this was the right outcome. Moreover, in the battle between Ling Xiao and the Black Tortoise, they could see how terrifying Ling Xiao's potential was. Ling Xiao was an entire cultivation realm lower than the Black Tortoise. In the end, the Black Tortoise had no choice but to unleash the power of the Black Tortoise's bloodline in order to swallow Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao died just like that? Second elder, didn't you say that this kid is not simple? Zhao Ritian's eyes widened in disbelief. The spirit of the black tortoise is too strong. Ling Zhao's cultivation is too weak. Something's not right. The old voice of the second elder could be heard. However, it instantly exuded a wave of shock. Boom! Right at this moment, the black tortoise in the sky started to tremble violently. A loud explosion could be heard as the black tortoise exploded in the sky. Golden light shone brightly and chaotic energy filled the air. 6 mysterious worlds shot up into the sky. It was an unparalleled fist print. It pierced through the sky and destroyed everything in its path. It rushed out from the black tortoise's stomach, accompanied by a golden figure. Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao didn't die. Everyone was in an uproar. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Not only did Ling Xiao not die, he even killed the black tortoise with a single punch from its stomach. The black tortoise was formed from the power of the black tortoise's bloodline. After being killed by Ling Xiao's punch, the black tortoise suffered quite a bit of backlash. It spat out a mouthful of blood and instantly became weak. How is this possible? The black tortoise's eyes were filled with disbelief. He had summoned the black tortoise. Not to mention Ling Xiao, the black tortoise was confident that it could injure or even kill a level 9 celestial realm expert. How could Ling Xiao be unharmed? Dazzling golden light streaked across the sky. Ling Xiao clenched his fist and charged at the black tortoise. His eyes were indifferent. Ling Xiao's speed was so fast that the sky was filled with his afterimages. The black tortoise had no chance to defend itself and was instantly hit in the chest by Ling Xiao's punch. Bang! The black tortoise flew back dozens of feet. The runes on its chest flickered and offset the power of Ling Xiao's punch. The red cloak on the black tortoise flickered as if it had suffered a heavy blow. The river diagram played a role in blocking Ling Xiao's punch at the critical moment. Although the black tortoise was sent flying, it did not suffer any injuries. Boom! 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 Ling Xiao's speed was getting faster and faster. As he descended from the sky, he threw out hundreds of punches in an instant. The golden fist imprint was incomparably dazzling, like a golden divine dragon, containing an indomitable and terrifying aura. Ling Xiao, who had used the teleportation secret skill, was extremely fast. After the black tortoise fell into a disadvantageous position, it did not have any chance to defend itself. In an instant, it was hit by Ling Xiao's hundreds of punches. The river diagram was like a watery light that enveloped the black tortoise. The runes spread and offset Ling Xiao's fist. However, the black tortoise felt extremely aggrieved. Its eyes were filled with anger. Chapter 359. Black Tortoise's heart trembled in disbelief. How could Ling Xiao be so strong? He was like a dragon in human form. His physical strength was limitless. He was no match for Ling Xiao even when he fully unleashed his black tortoise bloodline. If it wasn't for the river diagram, he would have died in Ling Xiao's hands. Watch me break your tortoise shell. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as a terrifying aura surrounded him. It landed on black tortoise as he prepared to strike. Ling Xiao, I'm undefeatable with the river diagram. You must have used some kind of forbidden technique. I don't believe you can keep erupting with such terrifying power. I'll kill you once your power recedes. Black Tortoise roared. His gaze towards Ling Xiao was filled with resentment and humiliation. Is that so? Little guy, the river diagram isn't something you can control. At this moment, a complacent voice rang out. There was a flash of light in the air and the old goat appeared. The river diagram on Black Tortoise's body trembled violently at this moment. Dazzling divine light gushed out and turned into a stream of light. It broke free from Black Tortoise's control and landed on the old goat. The old goat wore a cloak formed by the river diagram. His fur was shiny and he looked majestic. His eyes were filled with complacency as he enjoyed everyone's shocked gazes. My river diagram. Black Tortoise's expression changed drastically as he lost control of the river diagram in an instant. He screamed in agony as his vision darkened and he almost fell down. He couldn't figure it out at all. He had used the river diagram to keep the old goat, so he should have refined the old goat into ashes by now. How could the old goat have quietly escaped from the river diagram's control and even seized control of the river diagram? Boom! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly as he threw a punch at Black Tortoise's abdomen. Crack! Black Tortoise's black armor was also a powerful bejeweled weapon. At this moment, it emitted a dazzling brilliance and exploded in an instant. Black Tortoise's body suddenly arched like a cooked prawn. He coughed up large mouthfuls of blood and his aura became extremely weak. How terrifying was Ling Xiao's punch! The unparalleled power destroyed the Black Tortoise's meridians and shook his organs, causing his entire body to tremble. The Black Tortoise's body turned into a stream of light and suddenly fell to the ground below. A cold glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he prepared to kill the Black Tortoise in one go. However, Ling Xiao suddenly felt a sense of danger. His back was extremely cold, as though he was being targeted by a venomous snake. Without thinking, he used a secret teleportation technique and moved to the surroundings. A dark blue light flashed. Unparalleled sword light instantly erupted from where Ling Xiao had been. Even though Ling Xiao had dodged quickly, a bloody gash had appeared on his back. Moreover, black light had spread into his body. At Ling Xiao's original position, Su Liangqing held an ancient blue sword in his hand. His aura was extremely obscure, and his killing intent was incomparably blazing. At that moment, Su Liangqing's eyes were filled with shock. He simply could not understand why he had failed to kill Ling Xiao despite using his full strength. Bastard! Old bastard, you're an elder of the Wanshou sect. How dare you sneak attack a young man? Do you have any shame? The old goat did not expect Su Liangqing to sneak attack Ling Xiao. He was instantly enraged, and his eyes were filled with hostility. Su Liangqing? Very well. Ling Xiao turned around, his eyes cold. He did not even frown at the pain coming from his back. However, he had an extremely strong killing intent towards Su Liangqing in his heart. Ling Xiao, you've been poisoned by my Huagong Absolute Poison Powder. In less than 15 minutes, your cultivation will be reduced to nothing. If you don't want to die, kneel down and kowtow to me, and hand over the Golden Wind and Jade Dew. Su Liangqing looked coldly at Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with undisguised killing intent. What? It's the Huagong Absolute Poison Powder? I heard that this poison is extracted from the body of a demon king. It's extremely precious. Even a celestial realm expert would have his cultivation dissolved after being poisoned by this poison. Someone cried out in surprise, and a trace of shock appeared in his eyes. This time, Ling Xiao is dead for sure. Some people looked at Ling Xiao sympathetically. Although Ling Xiao's talent was extraordinary and his combat power was extremely strong, especially in his battle with the Black Tortoise, which had refreshed everyone's understanding of him time and time again, after being poisoned by the absolute poison powder, Ling Xiao had already become a fish on the chopping block, with no possibility of escape. Huagong Absolute Poison Powder? I didn't expect the dignified Wanshou sect to use such a despicable method. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes still calm. The Huagong Absolute Poison Powder was indeed overbearing, but after cultivating the Devouring Heaven's secret skill, the Devouring Heaven Golden Lotus could devour everything. Not to mention poison, even Demon Qi and Demon Qi could be refined by Ling Xiao. Therefore, when the Huagong Absolute Poison Powder entered Ling Xiao's blood, it was refined by him. Su Liangqing said coldly, when dealing with an enemy, it doesn't matter whether the method is despicable or not. Especially when dealing with an enemy like you, I never dare to underestimate you. Ling Xiao, kneel down. Ling Xiao, you also have such a day? You dare to offend the Wanshou sect? You're simply courting death. Kneel down and beg for mercy, maybe the great elder will give you a way out. Huang Haifeng laughed arrogantly. His eyes were filled with delight. Great elder, kill him. You must kill him. Cough cough. Black Tortoise's face was very pale, and he kept coughing up blood. His eyes were full of hatred. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Not only was the river diagram taken away, but he was also beaten like a dead dog by Ling Xiao. Although Black Tortoise kept a low profile in the Wanshou sect, he was very proud. Such a proud person was defeated by Ling Xiao. That feeling was simply driving him crazy, and he hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Who do you think you are? You dare to make me kneel? If you all kneel down and beg for mercy, maybe I will spare your lives, otherwise, all of you will die. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of sharpness, and his voice was full of dominance. You're courting death. Su Liangqing's eyes turned cold, and a terrifying aura burst out from his body. He stretched out his hand and grabbed at Ling Xiao. Old bastard, if you have the ability to fight 300 rounds with this emperor guarantees to beat you into a dead dog. The old goat roared and was about to charge at Su Liangqing. But at this moment, a mysterious aura spread out. Ling Xiao stood on the golden wind jade dew pond, his body emitting a faint light, and symbols flashed in the void. He slapped the void, and the entire golden wind jade dew pond began to tremble. Chapter 360. Ling Xiao, you're courting death. Su Liangqing's expression changed as he had a bad feeling about this. He unleashed all of his cultivation and charged towards Ling Xiao. He felt that Ling Xiao was doing something very dangerous. If he couldn't stop Ling Xiao, something very troublesome would appear. Boom! Thunder exploded in the void as the golden wind jade dew pond emitted a dazzling divine light. Mysterious runes filled the air as powerful figures walked out from the golden wind jade dew pond, exuding a vast and terrifying aura. They were figures in broken armor. Their entire bodies were filled with killing intent. Their bodies were illusory as if they were souls. They were incomparably gloomy and cold, as if they had come from the endless passage of time. Their bodies emitted an endless terrifying battle intent. Ling Xiao grabbed the eager old goat and plunged into the golden wind jade dew pond. At the same time, a dazzling brilliance shrouded Ling Xiao and the old goat. Boy, what are you doing? Why are you grabbing my tail? Hey, are these ancient battle spirits? The old goat's face was filled with displeasure when Ling Xiao grabbed its tail. However, when it saw the terrifying figures, its eyes suddenly widened and its mouth opened wide. Ancient battle spirits were special existences formed by the battle intent of the ancient experts after they died in battle and intertwined with the laws of heaven and earth. A battle spirit was not a soul form, nor was it a life form. It was only an unyielding fighting spirit that contained an extremely strong killing intent. Its combat strength was incomparably formidable. The golden wind jade dew pond was originally formed from the corpse of a god, and the place where a god died in battle is also the easiest place to condense a battle spirit. In the past, the ancestors of the longevity mystic realm used the golden wind jade dew pond as the foundation to form a resting place for their battle spirits. They were also the guardians of the golden wind jade dew pond. I just awakened them. Now, let's see who runs faster. The slower one will die. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The coldness in his voice made the old goat shudder involuntarily. This boy was too cunning. The people of the Wanshou sect were going to be screwed over by Ling Xiao. The old goat cursed inwardly. Rumble. The battle spirits were awakened by Ling Xiao and walked out of the golden wind jade dew pond. There were more than a dozen of them, and each of them had an incomparably powerful aura. This caused Su Liangqing and He Qing's expressions to change drastically. Not good, let's go. Although Su Liangqing didn't know what these battle spirits were, the ancient battle spirits emitted fluctuations that made Su Liangqing's heart tremble. Without even thinking, he roared at the crowd and was about to leap into the distance. Rumble. A battle spirit targeted Su Liangqing. The azure dragon crescent blade in Zhan Ling's hand was incomparably sharp. It cut through the air and slashed down towards Su Liangqing. It was like the Milky Way from the highest heavens, snow-white and resplendent, its infernal energy overflowing the heavens. Su Liangqing's complexion changed. Seeing that the road ahead was blocked, he could only grit his teeth and slash out with the ancient blue sword in his hand, wanting to finish off this battle spirit. However, the others weren't so lucky. The weakest of these battle spirits was only at the Grandmaster realm, but their combat strength was extremely powerful. Those who coveted the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond were unwilling to leave and instantly suffered a calamity. Several ancient battle spirits swept over, holding a long iron spear and a ghost head broadsword. Unparalleled divine power erupted, and immediately, several martial artists were cut in half at the waist, their bodies turning into a mist of blood. What are these things? Huang Haifeng, Phoenix Maiden, Zhao Ritian, and the others were all shocked. They didn't even think about it and wanted to run away. However, the speed of these battle spirits was extremely fast. Moreover, their killing intent was blazing and pure, containing an incomparably majestic power, and they chased after the crowd. Help! Don't kill me! Screams sounded one after another. These dozen battle spirits were like tigers in a flock of sheep. No one could withstand their might. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of people fell into a pool of blood. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere, and severed limbs could be seen everywhere. This swamp seemed to have turned into an Azura hell. Damn it, how can these ancient battle spirits be so terrifying? In the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond, the old goat felt his scalp tingle as he secretly clicked his tongue. There were a few terrifying ancient battle spirits that exuded an aura comparable to that of a half-step to the noble realm. The old goat felt that he was definitely no match for them. Rumble! The ancient battle spirits chased after the crowd. Their eyes were cold, and their expressions were indifferent. It was as if there was no emotion, only a strong fighting intent and killing instinct. Young master, hurry up and leave. I'll stop them. The old servant behind Huang Haifeng had a determined look in his eyes. His blood essence and flesh burned as he pounced on one of the battle spirits. At this moment, Huang Haifeng was so scared that his face turned pale. He didn't have any fighting intent left. He hated that he didn't have two more legs and quickly fled into the distance. As for his old servant, although he was of the celestial realm and had burned his life origin, he only resisted for a moment before he was killed by the ancient battle spirit. Old goat, stay here obediently and don't move. Those ancient battle spirits don't recognize you. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly as he warned the old goat. He rushed out of the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond and rushed toward Huang Haifeng. Ling Zhao didn't intend to let anyone who came here today go. The ancient battle spirits didn't seem to sense Ling Zhao's aura. Ling Zhao was unimpeded and caught up with Huang Haifeng in an instant. Rumble! Ling Zhao didn't say anything. His expression was cold as he punched out. The terrifying power seemed to tear the void apart. Ling Zhao? Why aren't you afraid of those damn things? Huang Haifeng let out a blood-curdling scream. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Zhao's fist landed on his back in an instant, causing all the defensive artifacts on his body to explode. Ling Zhao, don't kill me, don't kill me. If you kill me, my father won't let you go. Huang Haifeng suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood as he screamed. However, Ling Zhao didn't say anything to him and slapped down. Boom! A terrifying power exploded, and Huang Haifeng's body was directly smashed into a bloody mist by Ling Zhao, completely exploding. Ling Zhao's hand flashed and grabbed Huang Haifeng's storage weapon. His body turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Black Tortoise. Ling Zhao, what are you doing? The Black Tortoise's expression changed. He was already heavily injured. At this moment, he and He Qing were fleeing into the distance. Behind them, there was already a battle spirit chasing after them. But the road ahead was blocked by soaring firmament. I'll send you to see the Tiger King. Ling Zhao said indifferently as he punched toward Black Tortoise and He Qing. The blazing fist prince soared into the sky, containing a majestic dragon's might. It was like a blazing sun in the sky, unstoppable. Chapter 361. Violent Dragon Superpower, Quadruple Combat Strength. The reason why Ling Zhao was able to destroy the Black Tortoise so easily was because he had used the Berserk Dragon Divine ability. Ling Zhao's physical body was now perfect and flawless. The Violent Dragon Superpower could even suppress a peak rank 6 demonic beast, let alone the severely injured Black Tortoise and the panicking He Qing. Ling Xiao, the sect master will not let you go. You and the people of the Changsun sect will all die. He Qing roared and threw out a palm strike with all his might. However, it was instantly destroyed by Ling Xiao's punch. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he ignored the roars of Black Tortoise and He Qing. His unparalleled fist print fell and instantly enveloped the two of them. Boom! Black Tortoise and He Qing were directly blasted into a mist of blood by Ling Xiao's punch. Their souls were also directly devoured by the sky-devouring Golden Lotus. Black Tortoise and He Qing completely disappeared from the world. They did not even have the chance to be reincarnated. Their souls were scattered. Ling Xiao, he actually dared to kill Black Tortoise and Elder He Qing? He will not rest until he is dead. This is a hatred that will not rest until he is dead. Everyone's eyes were filled with horror. However, in the blink of an eye, they did not have the time to care about Ling Xiao's killing because the ancient fighting spirits had rushed over and killed countless experts, especially the disciples of the Wan Shou sect. Ling Xiao used the teleportation secret technique to move freely between heaven and earth. Those who wanted to escape from the ancient fighting spirits all died in Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao, go to hell. Su Liangqing was completely crazy. His face was ferocious and his eyes were filled with killing intent. The disciples of the Wan Shou sect were all dead, which made his eyes turn red. The two ancient fighting spirits that surrounded Su Liangqing were extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, Su Liangqing was at a disadvantage. Boom! Su Liangqing's body suddenly emitted a black divine light and completely burned. A monstrous wave swept across the sky and forced the two ancient fighting spirits to retreat. Su Liangqing took the opportunity to attack Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with crazy killing intent. He hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Everything was caused by Ling Xiao. Even if he had to die, he would kill Ling Xiao first. The dark blue ancient sword was like a long blue river, containing the aura of death and destruction. It was like the king of hell, ready to harvest all life. Su Liangqing burned his life source and his aura became extremely terrifying. In an instant, he exploded with the power of a noble plane cultivator. Even Ling Xiao felt threatened. However, Ling Xiao's expression did not change. He stood in the air and watched as Su Liangqing charged over. His eyes were filled with mockery. Kill Ling Xiao. As long as Ling Xiao is killed, perhaps these ancient battle spirits will collapse on their own. Su Liangqing's eyes lit up, and the only thought in his mind was to kill Ling Xiao. The blue ancient sword shone with an eternal light, and Su Liangqing slashed out with the strongest sword strike of his life. Rumble! The sword radiance was unparalleled and terrifying. It landed on Ling Xiao's body as if it was going to tear him into pieces. However, at this moment, an ancient sword appeared in Ling Xiao's hand. It was filled with an ancient aura. The body of the sword had the shadows of the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, and all life. It was like a sword of heaven, containing the power of law. Sky-devouring sword. As if it had felt Ling Xiao's strong battle intent, the sky-devouring sword began to buzz and vibrate. Rays of light pierced through the void, containing a terrifying killing intent. Rumble! Ling Xiao slowly raised the sky-devouring sword. The entire world began to rumble. Ling Xiao's aura became stronger and stronger, and it began to emit a terrifying aura. It was domineering, mysterious, and majestic. It could swallow the world. When the sky-devouring sword was completely raised, Su Liangqing's sword was already in front of Ling Xiao. However, at this moment, the scene before Su Liangqing changed drastically. He felt as if his sword had slashed through the air. Ling Xiao, who was opposite him, no longer existed in this world. It was a strange world in front of him. The terrifying dark blue sword radiance melted like snow. Swish! An unparalleled sword light descended at an extremely fast speed. The surrounding heaven and earth turned into a vast expanse of white. When the light dissipated, everyone saw Ling Xiao standing in the void. The ancient sword in his hand had disappeared. His expression was calm, and his aura was ethereal. Su Liangqing, who was opposite him, maintained the posture of drawing his sword. His eyes were filled with disbelief. What sword is that? Su Liangqing asked. It's called Sky-Devouring Sword. Ling Xiao replied calmly. Sky-Devouring Sword? Sky-Devouring Sword? It's actually Sky-Devouring Sword. Su Liangqing muttered to himself. In the end, his eyes revealed a trace of fear. Boom! Su Liangqing's entire body exploded, turning into the tiniest powder. When the wind blew, it completely disappeared into the void. It seems like the Wanshou sect knows something. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Others were confused by Su Liangqing's last sentence, but Ling Xiao understood. Su Liangqing recognized the sky-devouring sword. This also meant that the Wanshou sect knew about the Changsun sect's situation and was familiar with the sky-devouring sovereign. Ling Xiao was getting more and more curious. Who was the one who left behind the legacy of the Wanshou sect? The peerless sword that Ling Xiao used to kill Su Liangqing had completely suppressed the people who had lost their fighting spirit. Under the suppression of the ancient fighting spirits, blood-curdling screams could be heard. The air was filled with a thick smell of blood. Soon, almost all of them died in the hands of the ancient fighting spirits. In the end, only Phoenix Woman and Zhao Ritian were left. They were still fighting with the two ancient fighting spirits. However, when the other fighting spirits surrounded them, the pressure on Phoenix Woman and Zhao Ritian increased. Seniors, please stand down. Ling Xiao sighed softly. A mysterious rune fell from his hand. When the fighting spirits came into contact with the rune, their eyes revealed a trace of clarity. They looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated expression before returning to the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool. Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do? If you want to kill me, just kill me. If I frown, I'm not the Phoenix Woman. Phoenix Woman said coldly as she looked at Ling Xiao. On the other hand, Zhao Ritian lowered his head and rolled his eyes. No one knew what he was thinking. Phoenix Woman and Zhao Ritian did not choose to run away. Ling Zhao's shocking sword had almost exploded with the power of a noble realm cultivator. The sword that killed Su Liangqing made their hearts tremble. Ling Xiao ignored Phoenix Woman and looked at Zhao Ritian's Emperor War Chariot. This Emperor War Chariot only had the power of a low-grade Dao weapon. Some of the runes on it were broken and it gave off an ancient and vicissitude aura. Zhao Ritian was shocked. He thought that Ling Xiao was going to attack him. He quickly smiled and said, "Young Master Ling, do you like this Emperor War Chariot? This is a treasure that I obtained in the secret territory. It can travel 100,000 miles in a day. It's extremely fast and it's very cool. At that time, I felt that only young Master Ling was worthy of it. I decisively removed the mark that I left on the Emperor War Chariot." The Emperor War Chariot flashed and flew towards Ling Xiao. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.